Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our best.
Republic. I like the sound of the word. It means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
Are you ready to be who you are?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hood, netting now at your expense.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over.
You were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're gonna have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I declare to be an outlaw.
All right, everybody, it is the Outlaw Radio Network for the 14th of September, 2025. Thanks for checking out the show. Quick round, roll call, K-Dog, Beals. You like that nickname, right?
No.
You know I hate that.
My headphones sound really chunky right now, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Black Tom, all the way at the end. Hello, buddy.
Hey there. How are you today?
Good. Lori, the CEO, is off camera. What's going on, boss? How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
DJ D running the boards as he always done, and it does in his magically delicious way. Yeah. I don't know how I got to magically delicious, but you will not get my Lucky Charms. And F-Bomb is here as well. So she's off camera. I'm sure she'll drop some profanities later for those of you at home that are keeping score and have made it your new drinking game. How many times does Heather swear?
Take a shot every time she says fuck.
Or something. I'm not swearing on this show anymore.
Liar.
Just so we're clear.
You're lying.
I'm trying not to swear as much.
I've made that promise before, but I really got to work on that. I got to be better. I got to be better.
I'm curious.
I got to be better. Right.
I'm curious.
So I've now made it 5 minutes into the show. It's a record.
Good job, buddy.
5 long minutes. And it hasn't been 5 minutes yet.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. We started late. Tom, yeah. Shut up. Give me some credit, man.
Really, Kevin?
Yeah.
Hey, so you got to earn your credit. You earned your credit yesterday.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna go over a quick kind of overview of the show because tonight's show is gonna be a little unique compared to our regular shows. Obviously, the assassination of Charlie Kirk is kind of the overriding discussion tonight. We are going to get to some other stuff, especially next hour. We'll have Chris Gergen on joining us from Vegas. We'll open with him with some of the Charlie Kirk stuff, but we'll get into other conversations as well. Coming up at 8:45 tonight, Frank Aquila, our conservative.
I thought it was 7:45.
7:45. Gosh, man, I'm tired. 7:45 tonight. Frank Aquila will join us from Tennessee, our conservative insider. Just a quick little 10-minute check-in to get his thoughts where he's at on the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Again, Chris Gergen will join us the entire 8 o'clock hour. At 9 o'clock, Brandi Kruse will join us for about 10-15 minutes or so to check in after her Q&A tonight. She'll join us to talk about her thoughts. And then Dave McMullen, who is the Pierce County Republican Party chair, will join us as well at 9:30. Paul may chime in at some point tonight. I know he's got something that popped up, so we'll wait to see if we hear from him. I got a couple of voicemails that I've not listened to because they came in today and I was at the other job today, so I didn't listen to them, but we're going to play them anyway. So we hold no responsibility for what's in the voicemails.
That's okay. We don't have to worry about FCC oversight anymore.
No, I don't have to know anything.
Yeah, isn't that deregulation great?
It's wonderful. So anyway, it's going to be a full show. What I wanted to open with first, guys, was kind of a rundown of what we know. Okay, because there's a lot of misinformation floating around. A lot of people making guesses. A lot of people making assumptions based on their political agenda, one way or the other. And so I want to bust down what we know to begin with. Boss Baby, were you? Boss Baby is here as well. I forgot to say that she's monitoring from home. She's telling me that I'm number one, and you are too.
Not true.
Damn.
Anyway, so here's what we have. The latest information we have is not a lot. Okay. So here's what we know. We know that they don't know for sure about the motive from the shooter. Again, if you're reading things on the internet that say that they know about the motive for the shooter, it's a lie. They just don't know. And if the FBI does know, they haven't released anything. Now, there's a lot of hypothesis going around. The governor of Utah did release earlier today that they have confirmed that the shooter is involved in a relationship with somebody who's transitioning male to female. Mm-hmm. Now, they haven't said that that's part of it. They did find a letter that was left by the shooter, but they have not released the contents of the letter while they work to verify it, verify signatures and verify content and all that kind of stuff. So we literally have no idea. I'm not going to mention the name of the shooter. It goes with the same rule that I've had for myself. You guys can say it all you want to. That I've had for myself personally on this show since I started doing radio like forever ago, that I will not mention the names of shooters. The reason most of them do it is so they're remembered and they want their names to be talked about. They want to etch a place in history, and homie's not doing that. So I'm not going to mention their name. But they are very confident that is the shooter. They're very confident that they acted alone. And literally, I think that's all we know. Go ahead, Lori first, and then Tom.
One more thing.
Yes.
The transitioning roommate has been extremely cooperative.
That's the
FBI.
tidbit that I was going to bring up.
And the shooter has not been. The shooter has refused to provide any information, answer any questions. They basically mummed down. I guess when they first took them into custody, they were talking a little bit, but they've shut down since. The shooter's being held in a psychiatric wing, awaiting a mental eval. I don't think that's based off of anything actionable. I think it's a standard procedure for this type of crime. So I don't necessarily suspect one way or the other that they're going to come back and say, oh, this guy was mentally ill. I think it's a normal eval for this. So I wouldn't get your panties up in a bunch. What are you saying, Beals?
Nothing. I'm having a hair problem right now.
Are you? Okay.
With my headphones.
But if you talk, the microphone picks you up, and then the listeners are wondering what you're saying.
Sorry, Kevin.
It's okay.
I'll be more cognitive of that in the future.
So I have hair problems all the time.
I know you do.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. We're going to change the name of the show to The Big Hair Show.
The Big Hair Show.
Wow.
I didn't mean big hair. I meant problematic hair.
No, I like Big Hair Show.
No, but she doesn't have big hair.
Hilarious.
I have stuff.
I think it's just from the headphones. It's like sticking
Maybe.
out.
Yeah.
No, I think if we do the Big Hair Show, and you're kind of verging on having a something about Mary moment there. But if we were to stick with the Big Hair Show, I'm sure we could get a sponsorship from Aquanet.
Oh, maybe we could.
I'm just throwing it out there.
And wigs.
If anybody works
those
for
two.
Aquanet,
Yeah.
reach out.
And wigs for those two.
A couple
want a
comments
Hello
on chat.
Kitty pink wig.
Shannon said, I think your hair looks super cute, Alicia. Monica said, she said hi. Who said hi? She said hi. Who said hi? Corey said the conservative family said that his political views were far from theirs. I hadn't heard that. I'd heard a lot of rumors about that, but I've also heard a lot of people on the left going, well, he's part of a Mormon family and he's a Trump supporter and he's MAGA and like nobody knows any of this crap. Stop it. So Corey, if you heard that directly from them in an interview or something, it wasn't something I'd heard, but I don't. I mean, I'll believe it if like I know Corey. If Corey says he saw them say it, I'm going to believe Corey. So the rest of this story is just insanely tragic. Without any further information to go off of, we go off of what we know. It's insanely tragic. You have a 22-year-old young man who has thrown his life away for what? You have Charlie Kirk, who was a visionary for the Republican Party and conservatives across the country.
And for the First Amendment.
Yeah. And for getting young people motivated and out to vote.
Right.
He was instrumental in Trump winning the election.
Mm-hmm.
He was instrumental in inspiring young Republicans, which had really kind of ceased to be a thing for a long time during the Obama administration and even during Trump's first term. This young Republicans really wasn't a thing. And Charlie Kirk did that. I mean, Charlie Kirk was instrumental to making that happen. He's now gone. You know, I talked to a buddy of mine yesterday who said Charlie Kirk would have been president in 8 years on the track he was on with what he was doing and the connections he was making. And I can't disagree with that.
I think he was probably going to be presidential material, but I think 8 years is a little soon.
I don't know. He was 31 when he died.
Right.
That would have put him near 40.
Yeah.
Right. And then that election would have been another 2 years after that. So 42. He would still been a young man, but he would have had all these young voters that he's helped to mobilize and get out to vote and get registered to be active that are going to know him by name. One of the things I heard about online was that if you didn't know who Charlie Kirk was, ask your kids and your grandkids that are on TikTok because they all know who Charlie Kirk was, whether they liked him or not, whether they agree with him or not. I'm going to open the floor to everybody else in a second. I just want to share my thoughts real quick. I'm not a Charlie Kirk fan per se, right? Like I'm not, like I know Paul would go down rabbit holes and watch the videos and trail to the other videos and watch all these change my mind things that he would do out at the college campus and stuff. And he spent a lot of time in that. I don't have the time to go down internet rabbit holes. But when I did hear from him, when I did see him interact, he was generally respectful. He was always honest. He was 100% genuine, and he had like 100% integrity. Now, you can argue if you agree with any of his stuff. Like that's a rational discussion to have that he was more than willing to have on a daily basis when he was at these college campuses. That's why he went out. You don't see Trump going out. You didn't see Hillary going out. You didn't see Barack going out. You don't see Vance going out. These politicians don't want to have the dialogue because they're not trained on talking points to react that fast. Kirk reacted that fast.
He was smart.
Well, not only was he smart, Tom, he was learned.
Right. No, he knew his material. I mean, that's what I mean by smart.
Yeah.
You know, if you brought something up, he could discuss it with you. You know, he at least had his foot in the bucket, right?
He was
I mean, he may not
debater.
Yeah, he may not have been an expert on the topic, but his foot was at least in the bucket, and he had relevant, data to it, not opinions.
Yeah. And if you asked him a question, he could quote chapter and verse of the Constitution. He could quote chapter and verse of the Bible. I was going to say that. Chapter and verse of the Bible. Like, there was not a pause. It was, let me look up this verse really quick. It was bam, instantaneous, right? So that means the dude knew what he knew. Now, again, if you're an atheist somewhere in Belfair, because I've heard there's a lot of atheists in Belfair.
Okay.
They hang out at the subway.
It's very specific.
Is there a subway in Belfair?
No.
Isn't there?
Oh, the Subway shop. I thought you meant like an
I didn't mean like a
actual
real Subway,
No,
Beal.
sandwich shop.
You know, Beeler's tired when I say Subway, and she thinks an actual New York City subway in Belfair.
Wrong coast.
Where do you think? Where do you think a subway from Belfair would go? I did. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Great view.
But if
I had a late
you're
night.
if you're an atheist in Belfair, like, you can disagree with all the other stuff, but you have to be intellectually honest enough to say the dude knew what he knew. You know, he spent time in it. He invested in it. He was not. I'm not knocking Trump, right? But I guarantee that Donald Trump has never sat down and prepared and read up and studied something long term to have a deep grasp from the top of his head to the bottom of his toes about any subject anywhere. That's why he has lawyers and spokespeople and really smart people around him, because when you run a multi-billion-dollar empire, you can't know everything. Charlie Kirk knew everything about what he was talking about. And that's exceedingly rare. The only thing I can compare this to, people are going to be mad at me for this. The assassination of Charlie Kirk to me feels like probably what it felt like when MLK got shot.
Yeah.
Now, not for the same reasons. I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing depth of impact. Right. What Martin Luther King Jr. was seeking to do was to pull an entire African American population out of old Jim Crow laws and unjust civil laws, and so I'm not comparing the two. But the societal impact, the outrage, the mourning over a guy that was not elected, did not get chosen by people to be in the position that he was in, that stuck his nose in the middle of a fight that he made his own, and the response, like, to me, feels very MLK. And I will tell you, having spoken to numerous people at different churches around the Puget Sound, and we are one of the least churched states in the nation. Kitsap County was named in a study as the least churched county in the country. True story. Yeah. The least church county in the country was Kitsap County.
Interesting.
And when I was at church this morning, I will tell you that we were packed with a lot of new people and people that hadn't been there. I spoke to somebody that lives up in Bellingham, and they may have had more people there. I spoke to a very good friend of mine who was a youth pastor down in Olympia, and they saw a huge influx of people. Kirk's lasting legacy may be compelling people to get active, bringing back people to faith,
right,
and getting people to start caring about their neighborhoods, their country, their neighbors again.
Yeah.
That might be it. I want to give the floor to you guys too. Beals, do you want to?
Yeah, I do. So when I heard the news, I was absolutely devastated and couldn't control actually my tears that were falling from my face. I've been following Charlie for quite a long time, and he resonated, especially with conservatives. His constitutional knowledge was just. Are you okay?
Choking on my coffee. Sorry.
His constitutional knowledge was just amazing. Like, I completely looked up to him when it came to that type of stuff. I wish that my brain could stop on exactly what I'm looking for with every single word at the moments that he did, and can do it every single time. His knowledge of the Bible was just amazing, and he had to have had like a photographic memory. I don't know, but he could just pull that up, and he wasn't afraid to say the things to people that a lot of us are afraid to say to people. And when I saw that people were actually cheering his death, it made me so sad for humanity. When the people were killed in Minnesota,
The
lawmakers, and yeah, not once did I go, wow, I'm really glad somebody killed them. That's great. No, that's a human life lost. And anyone celebrating the death of anyone like that really needs to look within themselves and question who they are as a person, because that's completely unacceptable. And I get they have the First Amendment right to do that, but hey, you have the right to say what you want to say, but there can be consequences to what you do say. And accountability, exactly.
Is that the word you're looking for?
It wasn't the word I was looking for, but thank you.
Well, I think it's something. I'll wait my turn.
No, go
ahead.
ahead.
I think it's something that our society's lacking right now.
Yeah, everybody thinks they can just do whatever they want. Yeah.
No one's accountable for their behavior, and everyone's a victim.
Right. And so in studying for what I was gonna say, because I like to be prepared. One of the things that I've come across is that a lot of people misquote him all the time. They conveniently leave off half of the quote, and so it makes him sound like a misogynist. It makes him sound like someone who's racist or something like that. But if you actually look at what he's saying in the context, and this goes for everyone, not just what Charlie Kirk did, oftentimes those things are left off. But we lost a great man, and I'm devastated. I it's been on my mind a lot. The fact that it could be any one of us at any time. I mean, I've spoken to some pretty big crowds. Not that I think anyone would want to assassinate me, but we have some really strong leaders just in the government here in Washington that aren't afraid to speak their mind like Charlie was. And it really could be people that I know at some point. So anyways, that hit really hard for me. I often think about his wife and children, and I just pray that they find peace. So that's what I got to say.
Tom?
So last week when we were talking, I don't remember exactly where the analogy came from, but I was talking about how pardon me, that damn cup of coffee tried to kill me. I was talking about how right now the country's kind of divided, right? And we lose sight to the fact that we're fighting over the same government, the same entity. But just because one election cycle, the head honcho goes one way, the next election cycle, the head honcho goes the other way, it's still the same government, but we argue like it's a totally different monster.
Yeah, they do the same
like it's a totally different thing, and it's just not. But because we argue like that, it's deepened the divide in our country, and we could really like spend probably 3 hours dissecting how we've gotten this divided. But I think a huge amount of it has to do with
the media.
Yeah, with mass media and how mass media is, always trying to sell a buck or, sell advertising, make a buck. So you have to sensationalize everything. And because we, the people, I'm sorry, listeners, but we're stupid. We're stupid.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, and as a nation, we are stupid. We don't spend any time doing our homework. We don't spend any time looking for actual facts and figures. Your news is somebody's opinion who's talking to you over your morning coffee.
Right.
And your fact verification is memes on social media. No one actually does any real digging. And so that's driven this divide between, the left and the right, the blue and the red, whatever the hell you want to label it. It's driven it deeper and deeper. And we're all so narcissistic and egotistical that we can't see beyond our own opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
And we treat our own opinions like they're facts. And now we get political violence. Charlie, unfortunately, he's another statistic in this time right now, because you brought up the Democrat lawmakers,
right?
And a husband and wife died, and there was another husband and wife that were gonna die.
Yeah.
We're
it sucks.
We're cruising down the road. Like I had said last week when I said, really our government is a marriage between the left and the right, mom and dad are fighting right now. And if mom and dad get divorced, we the people, we're all fucked.
Yeah, we'll be stuck on weekend visitation with one or the other.
Right.
Listen, here's the challenge I have with this entire conversation is and again, I'm not trying to be popular when I say this. The murders of the representatives in Minnesota, I think, is a more imminent threat to our democracy, right? When you're murdering actively elected people in their own homes, I think that's a greater threat to our democracy than the murder of Charlie, right? Not a knock on Charlie, but I'm talking your sacrifice. We're
a constitutional republic, by the way, Kevin.
Well, you know what I mean. You're executing actual elected representatives. I think that's more perilous for our republic.
I wouldn't give it the label execution. It's murder.
Well, yeah, same thing.
No.
Words have consequences.
Yeah, the idea of an execution.
Okay, AOC, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the word execution has kind of some legal.
Oh, you're right.
Legal ramification behind it. Murder is a different animal.
Yeah.
So let me finish my sentence though.
Wait,
so I think that's more perilous for our nation when you start to see elected officials being taken out. I think what is more perilous for our nation's conscience was what happened to Charlie Kirk. Because these elected officials, while important, and I'd never advocate for violence, it's not what I'm saying, but they are cogs in a machine. Regardless of what party it is. You take one out, you replace him with somebody else. What happened in Jesse Young's seat, for example. And I love Jesse, right? Jesse left. Spencer Hutchins got it. There's always another Republican or Democrat to stand in line to fill a seat when somebody leaves, voluntarily or otherwise. There is no vacuum to pull in another Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he was one of a kind.
Yeah, there is no motivator to take the place of Charlie Kirk. There is no instigator to take the place of Charlie Kirk.
Not for his I don't know, his crowd, his people, whatever you want to call it. One of the things, because I like Charlie. I like the fact that Charlie had integrity and he was polite about his conversations and his debates.
Mm-hmm.
He met you on your turf. You know,
Yeah.
he went to your college campus.
Exactly.
And one of the things that Charlie kind of brought to light for me was the fact that college has changed a lot. Man, college used to be a place where you could go and explore, you know, ideas and concepts and you could dig into things and learn and, you know, expand and broaden your mind. And now it seems that education isn't really education, it's more indoctrination.
Yeah, it's teaching you what to think instead of being
How
able
to
to
think.
learn how to think.
Yeah. No one had. I know very few people under the age of 40 that have critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Very few.
Well, listen, the instructors, the college instructors, the people celebrating his death vocally and publicly do not have cognitive thinking skills. Who in their right mind thinks, I can't wait to get on social media and make a post about how amazing it is that this dude was executed, this dude was murdered? Who whether you think that in the back of your noggin or not, who in their right mind thinks, I'd like to go on public record for this?
Well, that's the damage that social media has done, right? Because half of the things that we say to each other now, well, more than half, hell, I'd say probably 80% of what we say to each other now is electronic. You're hiding behind a keyboard.
Yeah, nobody's getting punched in the face anymore for what they're saying.
Exactly.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
if you were to go and say the things that you say on, you know, behind a keyboard to a person's face, I have a feeling that the jails would be a little fuller than they are right now with, you know, just some simple assault charges.
I just think we lost one of probably the greatest human beings that has been around in my lifetime. That's how I look at it. I wasn't alive for Martin Luther King or
neither was I.
JFK or
Me neither.
just he's going to be greatly missed.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are going to bring up things he said that they took offense with. The one I keep seeing is the reference to Beeler, you might know the exact quote, but if
The Second Amendment.
No, the one about the African American flying the plane.
Oh no, I don't.
So something about and what he was getting at was affirmative action and DEI, right?
Right.
And so he was basically saying, I want somebody who's flying the plane because they're qualified, not because they got into it because of a DEI program.
I saw that clip.
And look, I know that anytime anybody mentions anything about race or whatever, it puts the hairs up on the back of people's necks and this is a racially charged statement. Well, guess what? This is a racially charged world.
Well, you know,
hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a racially charged world. We're not attributing these filters ourselves. Our government has created these filters that everything else waters down through. It's not like Charlie Kirk woke up one day and thought, boy, I bet all those black people are just getting the jobs because they're black. No, there were government policies and processes that promoted people for positions based on their race. Now, do I think that 99% of everybody flying a plane is qualified regardless of their race because they did the program and the training and all of that? Sure. But do I want to fly on one of the airlines of that 1% that may not be? I don't think so.
What?
And so Charlie put a voice to the idea in that statement, which is not a new statement. A lot of people have made statements like that.
Yeah.
But he put a voice to the idea that if there is a chance that the person who got the job to do what they're doing got it not because they were qualified, but because there was a DEI mandate to hire somebody that was not white for the job, I don't think I want to take that choice with my wife and kids and I on a plane.
Yeah, he wanted the best person to get the job is all he was saying.
But people hear him talk about race, and now he's a bigot and a racist, which is not. It's the disconnect, right?
Yeah, the thing is, when he was talking about that, I mean, he was using a lot of the studies of Dr. Thomas Sowell.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the only reason people aren't mad at Dr. Sowell is because
he was black.
He's a black man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said all the same damn things.
Yeah, he did.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, the one misstep that I think Charlie had when he talks about, First Amendment, Second Amendment, etc. The one misstep I think was something to the effect of acceptable deaths to maintain the Second Amendment.
Oh, you know what? I totally disagree with you. I totally understood what he meant.
Yeah, that
let
one's
me-
taken out of context too.
I'm sure it was, and I didn't
Yeah.
hear that one in
Yeah.
context. So I mean, at this point, all I can do is say, yeah, it's my sticking point right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Second Amendment proponent, but you know, we need to figure out the unhinged behavior with.
Can I explain to you my interpretation of what he meant? And Beeler, you can tell me if you agree. 'cause
Okay.
I
I'm
think we're on
curious.
the same page
Yeah.
here. So he said something to the extent of, you're going to have to accept that there's going to be some unnecessary deaths if you're going to have a Second Amendment. And really what he's saying is the same thing we've said about the judicial system for years. You have to accept that some people are going to be innocent even though they're guilty because we have a legal system that works, that protects the innocent. You're going to have to accept the fact that if there are guns in the hands of people, some people are going to screw up. You cannot create a perfect society. And so there are going to be people that die because there's guns out there. But it's not because of the guns.
Right.
The guns are the tool to accomplish a task.
Right.
And so what he was essentially saying was you have to accept that there's going to be some of that. It doesn't make it less tragic.
No, I mean,
nothing about Charlie Kirk told me that he was a callous, unfeeling individual. Like,
no, because I mean, we can have the same conversation about automobiles. I mean, we
Yeah.
have to have automobiles to move goods around the world or around the country or whatever. I mean,
and you have to accept if there's going to be cars on the road, there are going to be motor vehicle accidents and motor vehicle deaths.
Mhm.
Doesn't make it any less tragic. Doesn't make it any less sad. Doesn't make it any less unnecessary.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can't do things to mitigate or to reduce it.
right. I mean,
But as long as you have a vehicle out there, you're going to have people dying in motor vehicle accidents.
right.
But it doesn't mean you're like, well, thank God some of them died because I have a car. Nobody says that.
Nobody says that.
But it is the it is the part and parcel to anything. Everything comes with a negative consequence.
Sure.
Nothing comes without a negative consequence.
I don't think I've ever been more disappointed in my fellow mankind than I have been this week. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that most people have seen the video by now, or if they haven't, they will. And
Of him getting shot?
yeah,
Oh,
and
I'm avoiding it. I don't want to see it.
That the part of that hurts the most for me, just being a father and a husband.
yeah,
You know, his wife and kids watched him die.
Yeah.
exactly.
They were right
That
there.
is awful.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
is. I don't care if Charlie Kirk was standing there spouting Marxism. I don't care. That's awful that his wife and children watched him die.
Yeah.
You know, the human body, listen, the human mind is not designed to see that.
No.
So I'll second what Boss Baby said in chat. If you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And don't.
Yeah, it's really disturbing.
I haven't seen it, but I've been told by
You don't want to.
family,
You don't want to.
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Paul saw it by accident.
Yeah.
Paul didn't know it was sent to him, and Paul watched it and didn't know.
Yeah.
But Paul said it's one of the most horrible things he's ever seen.
I bet.
And he's woke up and looked at himself in the mirror. So I mean, if this is worse, then love you, Paul. What? I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable and I'm dealing with high stress
yeah, I
and mentally taxing things. So
By the way, I'd like to share what I thought.
yes, please do, Lori.
So I was at work in Seattle. And
Did they have a parade when he got in? No. sorry,
No.
go ahead. All right.
No, and I was really impressed. There was a vigil at Westlake Center. I was surprised.
Really?
I was surprised. And they were singing Amazing Grace, other Christian hymns.
It didn't turn into a shit show.
No, not
Really?
at all. There was probably 500-600 people.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Is that the one that Jim Walsh spoke at?
He may have.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't see him
Oh, okay.
speaking, so I can't comment on that. But I was in Seattle when I got the news from my nephew. My nephew is in his mid-30s.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I thought about is my nephew, my
Yeah,
nieces, my
right.
other nephews, my sons,
Right.
and their kids and their families, and how horrible this is. And then I started thinking, really, do they know? Somebody in their 30s and their 20s, do they understand the importance of this? I get they understand Charlie Kirk is gone. He was a big figure, whether they liked him or not, in their lives. I get that piece, but do they understand how much we're teetering right now as a country?
Yeah.
Somebody has been shot for speaking just speaking
Their truth.
their truth.
Yep.
They were speaking at a college campus. They weren't leading a protest. They weren't, at Tiananmen Square. Not that that was right, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't inciting violence. They were just speaking at a microphone at a college campus, and they were shot and killed. And I don't know if the younger generations really understand the importance, how much we're teetering as a country right now.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive, obviously, when MLK was shot, but I remember the adults in my family talking about it when I was a child and saying, we really have to keep informed. And that's when I started to become aware, when I was in elementary school. But for me, I always looked at numbers and, finance. That's more my gig. But they were really, really concerned with the way things went down with MLK and definitely with JFK and then also RFK.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot that was swimming, and it seems like we're back there. And those of us who were raised by that generation who saw that as adults, I think we're very cognizant of where we are socially, culturally, spiritually. But I don't know that the younger generation is there. And that makes me nervous.
Well, look, we lived through 9/11. I mean, we watched 9/11
Yeah.
video. We watched people jump from those towers, and that was traumatic enough. And there was nothing graphic in that. You just knew.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to bring up one other thing. We're gonna bring Frank Aquila on with us here in just a second. I want to bring up one other thing here too, real quick. I want to point out the dichotomy here between the left and the right. Okay, when someone dies that the left has an issue with, they riot. They burn cities to the ground. They burn down their own neighborhood.
No one's burned anything down since
why I said
Charlie died.
Hold on.
No.
That's why I said the left.
Yeah. He's
okay.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Work with me here, Tom.
You mean a leftist?
Yeah. When somebody dies that the left has an issue with,
wouldn't that be Charlie Kirk?
No. Somebody that the left didn't want to see die or believe.
Okay.
Like George Floyd.
Yeah, like George Floyd.
Okay.
They riot. They burn things down to the ground. They take to the streets. They disrupt everybody else's lives. They cause havoc and chaos and discontentment. When Kirk died, we saw prayer vigils and communities assemble and churches fill. Now, I've always said that I don't see much of a difference in the two parties because I don't. I think they're both equally corrupt. I think they both equally want your money. They're both equally agenda driven. They'll both equally screw you over to maintain that make sure that they maintain their base and their cash. But the one big difference is when you see somebody on the left that is murdered, let's say at the hands of the police or at the hands of a shooter, they riot and they destroy their own communities in the process. George Floyd's community was not better because of their protests. It was worse. And when Kirk died, it united people. It pulled people together. Even as Lori said, at Westlake Center in the heart of downtown Seattle, like literally one of the most liberal cities in the entire country, they had candlelight vigil for a conservative pundit, a conservative speaker, whatever you want to call him, in Westlake. It's an interesting dichotomy to me. That's I'm not going to make judgment calls about it because I don't know. But it's an interesting dichotomy. All right. We're going to go to the phone lines and I'm going to bring Frank on, who's going to join us just for a couple of minutes. We wanted to get him on and have him share kind of his thoughts and his kind of impressions of what's happened over the last several days. Frank, would you say hello so I can double check your audio level, please?
Hello to all.
There you are, my friend.
Hi,
How
Frank.
are you?
Hey, Frank.
So I'm not even going to ask you a specific question, man. Just if you can just share your thoughts on what you've seen since Wednesday, with Kirk's passing, with the response, both good and bad. Just where are you on that today? Now that a few days have passed.
Well, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to come back on after being here last Sunday there, Kevin, and it's very heart-wrenching to know that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, and seeing his wife get up there and actually speak just the other day brought tears to my eyes and my wife's eyes of somebody that we've never met. And I'll just say this about Charlie Kirk. He was a genuine man. He was possibly a future president. I mean, he was somebody that really, he was a voice of a generation that you get once in a generation type of person. And I'll have to say I'm more aligned with Charlie Kirk than I am with anybody in any political party, because if the Republican Party went in a different direction, Charlie Kirk would always stand by his faith first. And that's the type of person I am. I'm not married to the Republican Party. As you know, that I was raised in a family that, when my father was a Democrat, my mother was a Republican, and I've always believed in the man over the party, which, the parties were always very similar back then, and now they're very much contrast, as you stated, as far as when somebody passes away. It's despicable to know that we've gotten to a point now that somebody is assassinated and it's celebrated by some people. These people are very evil people. And I'm just going to state, going to church today, there was a verse that the preacher talked about that really caught my eye. And I want to read that verse. It is from Luke chapter 11, verse 34. And that verse says, "The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, your whole body is also full of light. But when your eye is bad, your body is also full of darkness." And then in other words, hey, if your eye is evil, your body is going to be evil. And that when that assassin looked down that scope with his eye on Charlie Kirk, he was full of evil and he was full of darkness.
Yeah.
And he attacked the cornerstone fabric of our nation. The number one thing is the freedom of speech. And Charlie Kirk went to the people. He went to the colleges where kids' minds are being formed in colleges, and he just wanted to have a discussion. He was not threatening anybody. He gave the opportunity to say, you know what, you speak your mind, you speak, tell me prove me wrong. That was on his tent. Mm-hmm. Prove me wrong. And he was very much a person to do that. But because the liberal mindset has become so much where he was having an effect where a lot of people were being influenced by him, the liberals, they wanted to take him out. That's why they celebrate, because they can't win in the realm of a debate. And the whole fabric of you guys having your own radio program is what Charlie Kirk was all about. Given the opportunity to have a discussion, not having violence, but have a discussion. So you know what, in the end, we come together and you know what, we could either agree to disagree, or we could go ahead and say, you know what, my mind has been changed by the ideas I've had with various people. So if you think about from the Democrat Party standpoint, they don't have the equivalent of a Charlie Kirk out there talking to the young people.
Yep.
They don't. All they have is liberal professors that are indoctrinating them on a viewpoint, but they're not there to, hey, let the students have a chance to have a voice, question them. No, it's basically one-sided, and that's why our colleges have become, and that's why it's so disgusting. It's evil that anybody would celebrate somebody being assassinated.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've gone through a little bit of a purge on my own personal social media accounts, just removing the fine folks that decide that they want to make a celebratory statement over his murder. It surprises me, some of the people I've had to remove, people I've known for 15, 20 years, more than that I think that's okay. Frank, what happens now? I mean, from just kind of an overview, right? Like this can do one of two things. It can fracture that very fragile work that Kirk was doing, especially with getting involved with the youth and getting the youth motivated to get out and vote, or it can coalesce support behind that and build even more behind it, because he's a martyr. I mean, he lost his life to facilitate and grow this idea that you could have young people voting Republican and have young people as conservatives. What do you think comes next?
I think what Charlie Kirk has done is it's kind of like what his wife actually stated. They have really opened the door for so many more people to get in the spotlight. Charlie Kirk was part of a conversation. He just part of some videos that are out there for people to see. But you know what? Everybody's watching these videos now. Everybody's saying, "Hey, what was this guy about?" And where, I don't know how many colleges we have in America, and Charlie Kirk went out to maybe 12 to 15 colleges on his tour, but now it's going to be exploded. It is really going to go out there because people are going to wonder, why was this guy murdered? And the only thing that from the Democrat side is they could try to say, they could try to vilify him. They try to vilify President Trump. They have to use deception. They have to go ahead and even screenshot a photo of the assassin as if he was wearing a Trump shirt to make it look like he was a Trump supporter. The Democrat Party has become so evil on the side where their eye is in the eye of darkness. And I'll just state this: Charlie Kirk actually put out a poll that the acceptance of assassinating Elon Musk, 48%. And you have to look up this poll that Charlie Kirk actually did, and it would have been acceptable. And then 53% said the same thing about President Trump. I have to believe that cannot be true, but I just know that from the left side, they believe if they disagree with somebody, assassination is okay. Yeah, impeaching them, jailing them, and you know what? That is fascism, and fascism is what they've been saying that Trump is doing. And I believe that this assassin out there, he was listened to this ideology that anybody from the right side is a fascist, and you know what? What we need to do is take him out, and that's really what the blood is on the Democrats' hands on this whole thing, because really, they have shown that it's acceptable.
Frank, we thank you for taking some time out on a Sunday. I know it's not our regular time to check in with you. I know it's impactful. Anything else that stands out in your mind as we move forward in the days and weeks to come, kind of work on our way through this?
Well, I just want to probably just have it on the mind of what Charlie Kirk said that he wanted to be remembered for. And he wanted to be remembered for his faith and courage to God. And you know what? I mean, there's a clip of that I saw, and it's like, you mean, he actually said, "You mean if I died?" And he goes, "I just want people to realize my faith and courage," and that's what this man did, and that's what his legacy is going to be, his martyrship, and you know what, he is going to have impact on several people. And I'll just say this: even though he was assassinated by this assassin, even his widow now has stated, if that assassin, Tyler Robinson, comes forward and he accepts Jesus Christ as his personal savior, that would be, we don't look for this guy in evil, but if he were to come and accept Jesus as a savior, Charlie Kirk would be the first one there at the gates of heaven to accept him in.
Yeah.
Frank, good spot, man. We appreciate you. We love you so much. Thanks for taking some time. We'll see you again the first weekend of October, and take care of yourself and your wife, and just keep the faith, man.
Thank you, and God bless you both.
God bless you, man. All right, Frank Aquila, again, he's author of the book Sarah Palin Out of Nowhere. He is the longest running guest we've ever had on this show. Just a long time contributor to the show, good friend of the show, and a really good guy to talk to about stuff like this. And we just appreciate him and his time. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to bring Chris Gergen on from Vegas. We'll talk about this. We got some other national stuff we'll get into as well. Again, just to give you a rundown of what else is on the rest of the show, at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, Brandi Kruse will join us. She will not be in studio. Sorry about that, Rick. I know you're hoping. She'll not be in studio, but she will join us remotely. And then Dave McMullen, the Pierce County Republican Party chair, will join us as well. To just kind of give some local thoughts on what we've seen over the last 5 days or so. I don't want to start this conversation with 5 minutes before the top of the hour, so I won't do it. Let me ask you the same question I asked Frank. What happens next with the movement that Kirk started?
I think that it's only going to expand. I've talked to many different people over the last few days who've now expressed an interest in going to church, who maybe hadn't done so in the past. I've seen many stories of people walking away from the Democrats because they're so appalled by their reaction to a human being dying, being assassinated. I think that I don't remember the exact figures on it, but I heard that there was 30,000 requests for new chapters of the Turning Point at colleges and universities across the United States. And wasn't there a big march in Europe as
There
well?
was a big march in London and Sydney, Australia.
Right. And it was like millions of people. It was
I
insane.
heard like
to
3
see.
million people in London showed up, and if you look at the pictures,
Right.
it's
And
insane.
so it's not just affecting Americans. He was loved worldwide.
And the Aussies had a big party. I saw that. I didn't hear about London, but the Australian one looked huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just think it's amazing. And that's just a testament to who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey said, I've never been to church ever and actually thought about going today. Corey, if you want to go next weekend, you can come with me. I'll save you a seat. You can sit next to me. Would love to have you go with. Monica said, we'll find out tomorrow with Vance. I don't know how much we're going to find out tomorrow with Vance. I don't know how much the federal government's ready to release yet. I think there's too much stuff.
I think what she's referring to is the first I had heard, but Vance is supposed to host Charlie's podcast.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. I just saw it roll through the chat. Someone had made mention of it. I don't know how true that is, but I think that's what they're referring to.
So here's what the other thing I wanted to say about this as well is I just want to remind you of what Barack Obama's minister said several years ago. The chickens are coming home to roost. The Democrats canceled a whole bunch of people during the Me Too movement. They canceled comedians for jokes that they said 10, 15 years prior. They canceled actors because of things that they said. People lost livelihoods and jobs just because of things they said. And the Democrats said, well, that's what happens when you say disrespectful and angry and bigoted and hateful things.
Or they paid a fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any sadness for the folks on the left that are now facing the repercussions of their actions because they did it themselves to moderates and conservative voices during the Me Too movement. Now, some of the people in the Me Too movement deserve to get knocked down a few pegs. They deserve to get canceled. Some of them, not all of them. Like there were comedians that told jokes 15, 20 years earlier that got dredged up and then they were canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 15 or 20 years, that society changes a lot over 15 and 20 years. I mean, hell, look at Sanford and Son. Do you think you could put Sanford and Son on TV nowadays?
You couldn't put MASH on.
No, MASH, Sanford and Son.
Look at the first
All in the
season.
Family. Yeah, All in the Family.
Probably not even Good Times.
No, Good Times. Hell,
Jeffersons.
The original Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the original Bad News Bears playing at like the Tracyton Movie House?
No.
People would they'd shit bricks.
Yeah.
Literally.
But see, I don't know. I don't think that's true. You know what I think? I think as individual people, we're still laughing at the same dumb stuff we used to laugh at before.
Right, but you can't do it in public.
You can't do it in public. Yeah, that's exactly it. You can't do it in public. So
you can be real with your friends, but you can't be real in public.
No, you can't.
Look, Team
No,
America.
you can't.
What was it? What was Team America? What was it? I'm so Ronry. So you know which one I'm talking about? Team America with the dolls and they fought Kim Jong-un.
I know what movie you're talking about.
I don't remember what the name it was. Anyway,
it was Team America.
Team America, and they had dolls having sex. They had sex scene with the dolls. Right?
The whole thing was silly.
Like that stuff would come direct to video now, and people would laugh their butts off about it, but nobody would talk about it. Yeah. There's a reason why people watch South Park in the privacy of their own home and not in public. Because people still have the same sense of humor. You just don't want your neighbors to know that you're laughing at it. But Democrats are, and yeah, Team America World Police. Thank you, Andy.
Oh,
yeah. And so no, I and Andy, I guess, mentioned it earlier. This is payback for the Me Too movement. Congratulations. You silenced a whole bunch of conservatives, and you took away people's livelihoods and their jobs, and you made it so they couldn't work anymore. Well, the chickens came home to roost. Like, turnabout sucks, man. Revenge is best served cold, man.
See, that's the part that worries me, though. Right? I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. That is Charlie's assassination going to calm things down? Is it going to cool the rhetoric off, or is it just going to deepen the divide?
Hold on, let's
we get a little bit closer to to that divorce between mom and dad, right? And then what?
Let's ask Chris out when we come back out. We're going to do the bumper break, top of the hour bumper break. So we got a cushion in there. When we come back, we're going to bring Chris Gergen on from Las Vegas. We'll ask him that very question to start. Does it dampen the rhetoric? Does it slow it down a little bit? Does it ratchet it up? Does it make it safer? Does it make it worse? We'll ask Chris Gergen that and a whole bunch more. It's the Outlaw Radio Network. We're talking about Charlie Kirk for most of the night tonight. Again, Brandi Kruse joins us at 9. Dave McMullen, Pierce County Republican Party chair at 9:30. And your comments in the chat as well. Stick around. It's Outlaw Radio. We're back after this. Admin a la carte are specialized local experts committed to helping you run your small business. From general admin and sales support to marketing, digital media and technology to real estate and compliance. Admin a la carte's only goal is to take your business to the next level. Find out how Admin a la carte can elevate your business. Visit admin-alacarte.com for more information. That's admin-alacarte.com. Admin a la carte. Your business doesn't fit into a box. Why should you have to?
Are you ready to elevate your spirits? Look no further than Black Rain Spirits, your local craft distillery nestled in Town Square Mall. Indulge in the smooth richness of our handcrafted spirits, meticulously distilled to perfection. Whether you prefer the bold kick of our bourbon or the subtle sophistication of our gin, Black Rain Spirits has something for every palate. Visit us today at Town Square Mall and experience the essence of true craftsmanship. Black Rain Spirits, where passion meets perfection, unconventionally traditional. On a recent episode of the Outlaw Radio Network,
some of our listeners even appreciated you dumbing it down for them. So, on behalf
sometimes
of
I have to mansplain for people like. By the way, mansplaining is when men explain things to a woman in a condescending tone. I just mansplained mansplaining.
That's the Outlaw Radio Network Sunday night at their new time from 6 to 10.
You older people, I know you're getting a little edgy right now, but you better get into me because I don't want to bum you out, but I'm the future of America.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Good evening, my fellow citizens.
It's kind of stony, huh?
It's a real thing. A radio signal from another world.
The United States government presents
the Outlaw Radio Network. Outlaw Radio Network.
To provide guidance to mankind.
All right, Outlaw Radio, hour number 2 is underway. Thanks for checking out the show. We appreciate you. K-Dog, Beeler.
To provide guidance.
Nobody's allowed to call her Beals but me. Black Tom. Arrgh. Well, don't bring him on yet. Hello, Chris. Normally we let people know before we bring them on, so they're not like, picking their
It's
nose.
a good thing I wasn't doing anything I wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah. What's on, buddy? What's going on, buddy?
Man, a lot. This has been a really surreal last 5 days.
Hold that thought for 2 seconds. Let me tag something with the rest of the show. Again, coming up in about an hour, Brandi Kruse will join us. Pierce County Republican Chair Dave McMullen will join us at about 9:30. And then after that, we'll talk Derby. We had the Outlaw Invitational yesterday at the Cassette Destruction Derby Association. We'll talk about that later in the show. We'll also get our football picks out of the way. But we'll do those quick because we got to end on something not as heavy. So we'll bask in the joy of a Seahawk win today. Chris Gergen, closet Seahawk fan, now joins us from Vegas with Dark Horse Political. Who is your football team?
Ducks.
I don't really have one right now. I don't really watch pro ball anymore.
No, you're just a Duck guy.
I am a Duck guy.
Yeah, you don't follow the Raiders?
I do, but not really. I mean, I'm going to watch them tomorrow, but I'm not expecting them to win.
Yeah, I became a Raiders fan when they moved to Vegas just because I like the city of Las Vegas. So
yeah, it's a great town, and we'll have the Oakland A's are going to be the Las Vegas A's, and we'll have the Oakland Raiders that are going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, right? So we'll have the whole kit and caboodle there.
Yeah, matter of fact, Chris, my wife F-Bomb and I are going to be in Vegas next weekend.
Awesome! Thanks for the warning.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
No, man. If you're around, give me a call. Maybe we can get together.
I was going to say, actually, if you're around, let's meet and have a drink.
I'd love that.
Okay.
Smoke a cigar and you guys will
yeah.
do it. Yeah, Chris said I could come crash at his place for a week. I'm just gonna come, just
I don't know about a week, but
snuggle in bed right between him and his wife and be like, hey Chris, come home.
I don't know about
I just want to go have a drink with the guy, you weirdo.
Listen, K-Dog always takes it too far. Chris, listen, it's thanks for coming on with us. We had a candidate interview, a guy that you're running down there. We were going to talk about that. We're going to move that back.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I want to thank you and him both for your flexibility
Right.
first, as we've, the events on Wednesday necessitated this kind of change just to really put a good amount of time into this discussion. So thank you to both of you for that. Coming out of Wednesday and what happened with Kirk and the response that we've seen since then, what are your thoughts? Where do you land today?
I think if you remember back, all of us here are old enough, minus Miss Beeler, to remember 9/11. And on 9/10 the world was one way, and then on 9/12 the world was a different way. And I think that there is this feeling nationally, this kind of cloud, this hangover, to where the world, the nation, politics, everything feels differently tonight on Sunday than it did on Monday, the Monday prior to the assassination. And earlier I was listening to the show, and I was listening to you guys talk about the footage of Charlie getting shot, several people even in the chat said don't watch it. I would disagree with you. I think you should watch it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's so much about the world that we live in that is manufactured. There's so much about the political hyperbole that is just blatant bullshit. There isn't anything more graphic or real than that footage. And I think it captures like no other medium could capture the reality of where we are in America better than that video, because it contextualizes all these people going on TikTok and going on Facebook and going on, Instagram and going on all these, Twitter or X, and, and cheering this guy getting assassinated. And it contextualizes that. And when you don't see it, when you don't really know the reality of it, the horror of it, and it's a terrible video.
Mm-hmm.
It is a terrible video. It is graphic. It is fast. It is 3 seconds, 4 seconds of graphic footage. But it will change your life, and it will contextualize for you just exactly where we are as a country. And if you're a Democrat listening to this, if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to watch it because it will show you exactly where your party is. If you're a Republican and you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to watch it, but only watch it once because it will contextualize for you where your party is. And the divide, you guys were talking about divorce and so forth, like we're past that. Dad's already moved out. We are two separate, distinctly separate people living in two distinctly different worlds with two distinctly different worldviews. We're coexisting in this confined space called America. And as the Democrats lose more and more credibility and more viability as a party, or as a criminal organization, as I like to say, they will become more and more irrelevant nationwide. And it is my contention, and I said this at the beginning of the year, and I stand by it, that within the next 5 years, maybe 10 at the longest, that the Democrat Party will be a regional party at best. And now that's not to say the Republicans couldn't screw things up and there could be a power shift, because God knows Republicans have the ability to completely screw things up. But we don't murder people.
Right.
We don't burn our cities down. We don't constantly for almost 10 years call people Nazis, 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 Nazis. And you know, the bottom line is that you look at MSNBC, which they have to change their name. They got sold because they're making no money. You look at CNN, you look at all of these other ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, all these different outlets. The American people are onto it. They get it. The gig is up. They understand they're being lied to. And that's not to say that, you know, Fox News is telling everybody the truth all the time, and, you know, and Newsmax is telling everybody the truth all the time. Media in general has lost the vast majority of its sway or influence with most folks. And this younger generation is getting their news and their narrative from TikTok and Instagram and social media.
Exactly.
And outlaw radio. Yeah.
and so the power dynamic has shifted towards creators, right? And so it's not about being right. It's about being first, right? It's about creating a narrative. You know, I tell folks, you know, I'll give an example. So Brandi Kruse, who you will have on, I think she's great. She left mainstream media specifically, and I've heard her on the subject, and if I'm wrong on this, I hope that she corrects me in the next segment. But one of the major reasons that she left mainstream media is because she was put into position to where she had to choose between reporting the narrative or reporting the news.
Right.
Right. And when mainstream media is busy reporting the narrative and not the news, then you end up with, you know, a group of people that are indoctrinated.
Yeah. A society that's uninformed
or misinformed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, I think between uninformed and misinformed, I'd rather be uninformed, right? Whether they say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you're misinformed, that is intentional, right? Like nobody lies by accident, right? If you say something that isn't true, but you had no idea that it wasn't true, you weren't lying. You were just, you know, you were in error. You made a mistake. I didn't have all the facts, right? But if you know the truth and you physically edit video to create narrative that you want, or you physically splice audio to create a narrative, right? Or you manufacture the worst possible narrative you can out of a story that has nothing to do with what you're telling people, that is inherently dishonest and lying, right? And the refreshing thing about Charlie Kirk was that he would go to these schools and go to these campuses, and he would tell them the truth, right, as he saw it. And he would back it up with facts. And he handed the microphone over to the blue team, right, or to the liberals.
Yeah.
I've never seen ever a liberal do that. ever. Nor would they, because they're uninterested in what is true.
And take it one step further too, Chris, we don't see Republicans doing that. Like we don't see, you don't see Republican candidates or Republican politicians stepping into what's essentially the lion's den on a college campus and giving an open mic without pre-screener questions to a bunch of college kids and then responding in such a fluid, knowledgeable, expert way as Kirk did. Because Kirk didn't have to pause for a second and, well, hold on, let me look this up. Or, that dude was sharp as a tack, responded immediately. New Bible verses, new constitutional line items. Like,
do you think that's why he was shot? Because how do you silence a brain like that? Right. I mean, it doesn't matter what the message is, because if the message is factual and whatever the agenda is that's pushing whatever whatever narrative, if the facts and the figures don't support the opposition narrative, then how does the opposition silence that?
I don't think, Chris, tell me what you think. I don't think this 22-year-old knew jack about the opposition, the agenda of the Democrat Party. I mean, I think this 22-year-old kid was, I hate this guy because of what he'd been fed into.
But we don't know that.
But I don't think he was cognizant of the ebb and flow of the reasons behind it. He was just a easily manipulated kid that was pre-programmed with a lot of BS information, sent off into the world, couldn't handle conflict, and now found a guy he didn't like. Do you agree, Chris?
No. I disagree. I think that this kid was on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alicia. I stepped
No,
in.
I was just going to say you're doing exactly what you have told people not to do. Don't speculate about where the shooter is coming from.
No, I was guessing. Yeah, but I also wasn't putting it out like I knew anything. Right. That's.
I mean, you kind of did.
Yeah,
you
because I know everything. But go ahead, Chris. Alicia's just going to spend the next hour telling me I'm wrong.
So this kid was radicalized not through college. I think he went. I read a credible report that he attended school for about 10 minutes and then dropped out. But he had been radicalized online through Reddit, and being involved in alternative, because they have forums for everything on Reddit. I mean, it doesn't make a difference what you're into. Hookers, midgets, furries, doesn't make a difference. They got it all right there on Reddit.
They might even have midget furry hookers in.
They probably do, man. I get, what, and there's a space for everything on Reddit, and there's a lot of gamers that frequent Reddit and so forth. This kid was a gamer. Nothing wrong with being a gamer. I know a lot of gamers. My stepson's a gamer, but there are also some darker places, right? There are some dark places on the internet. In reading this nonsense, did you know, and I know this from being in the business, like there are teams that the liberals have of Redditors that go into Reddit to put out propaganda because into, certain forums, and because they know what's going to happen. It's going to propagate throughout their base. This kid was straight up radicalized. He grew up a Mormon, in a Mormon home. Dad's a cop, mom's a social worker. They weren't really political. I'm not going to say that they were Republicans. They weren't Democrats either. They were just kind of normal folks. They wanted a 25-year roof and, a nest egg and to kind of live their life. Mm-hmm. They like to go hunting. That's where this kid learned how to shoot. But he got involved and influenced with people that are not okay in the head. And, this may be what I'm about to say might be controversial, but we're not on the FCC, so it doesn't really matter. Hopefully it doesn't get you canceled. But, this transgender ideology is a mental illness. And this kid's boyfriend he wasn't even gay growing up. Right. And then all of a sudden, as he gets older, he gets involved in this transgender ideology and these furries, what they call them, furries, people that like to dress up as animals and wear animal suits and pretend to be, whatever. Like, I'm sorry. It's like, I don't care personally what you're into, whatever you want to do behind your closed doors. That's fine. You want to stick a banana in your ass. I don't care. Right? It doesn't make a difference to me. But the reality is that when you are pushing this sort of thing and you're encouraging it, and it goes so far as to the state of Washington giving money and encouraging transition of children and passing laws in the legislature transitioning children and sexualizing children.
Yeah.
I've got a fucking problem with that. I'm sorry. I've got a problem with that. Pardon my French. If there's kids at home, put them away. But you know, this is just the reality. This kid was radicalized, and when you tell people that Charlie Kirk is a fascist, Charlie Kirk is a Nazi, Donald Trump is a Nazi, Republicans are Nazis in general, Republicans, conservatives are Nazis, right? Then what are you going to do? You're going to go kill a Nazi because you feel justified, you feel empowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then crazy people do crazy shit, and that's just the reality of it. And this is, do I think that this was just a hit and, you know, a professional hit? It doesn't look like it was executed like a professional hit. At first, when I first looked at it, I thought, well, man, maybe it was somebody, you know, this was like a professional job. But then as more facts came in, it began to look more and more like not a professional hit. You know, and let's not forget, Charlie Kirk was not the first one. They shot Donald Trump back in June of last year and killed someone in June in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Then this wacko guy up in Minnesota comes out and kills that legislator, kills her husband, and then shoots and wounds, though he did not die, but the intention was murder. Another one. Those two Democrats are the only two that broke with their party over illegal immigration votes. Right? That's the reality of where we're at, right? And like you have these Palestinian protesters. They shoot 2 Jews in New York, right? The problem is the radicalization. The problem is that the temperature has been turned up so high that now it's like a nuclear reactor and we're at runaway speed, and there's no calming it down. And I think this is going to end in conflict. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. But I think what's going to happen is that conservatives are going to start carrying weapons just about everywhere they go. A lot of them already do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to find a wacko mess around with the wrong guy and then end up leaving with some holes that they were not necessarily born with. And, you know, that is just where I believe this is going to end up. It's going to end up more violent and then less violent, because you look at the political, even on our side or on my side. I know not everybody here is conservative, but on my side, the weak ass response, you know, from a lot of people on the conservative side, there was no outrage from a lot of sitting Republican and conservative legislators and elected officials. Oh, my thoughts and prayers go out to Charlie and his family. Well, that's fucking worth about nothing. That doesn't do anything. Why not get a little bit angry about the fact that, I don't know, a wacko who was radicalized through this leftist ideology went out and shot somebody who was peaceful, trying to do a good thing, trying to bridge the gap, trying to build bridges and not walls? How about you get a little bit angry? How about you be as angry as your constituents, and you go out and capture that energy and focus it in a productive way? Yeah. That's leadership. And I saw very little of it. I'll be honest with you.
And I think we owe that to Charlie. I think we do as conservatives.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. So I can tell you, all of my clients captured that energy.
Yeah.
And I called and talked to almost all of them. And I was like, so we have a couple choices here. We can either do this or you cannot be a client.
Oh.
And all of them got on board.
Good.
Because so when you think back to COVID, there was a lot of angry people, yes?
Oh yeah.
A lot of angry people.
Yeah.
So one of the main reasons that Lauren Culp did so well in the governor's race last cycle, when I say well, I mean the energy and the popularity, and thousands of people coming to rallies, is because we were able to capture and bottle up the anger and the feeling of the people being trapped and being victimized by a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
Right. And the anger I can tell you this firsthand, the anger from Republican voters towards Republican leadership at the time was that they were doing nothing to defend their base. They were doing nothing to defend conservatives. They were doing nothing to defend just average everyday citizens in Washington state. Instead, they were going along with just the status quo. And so what I see now is I see a bunch of candy-ass elected people and candidates that are just, oh, my thoughts and prayers. And then that's it. They send out a tweet. They post a thing. They don't talk about it. They don't put their face on video. They don't condemn it in the strongest terms. They don't reach out to their constituents and say, what are we going to do about this? Let's do a vigil. Where's the net? They don't do any of that stuff. They just sit at home on their asses and they just tweet thoughts and prayers. Well, I'm going to tell you, folks, that ain't going to work. The conservative base is sick of that shit, and they're going to turn it around on elected folks. And so you can either get on board or get voted out. I'm just telling you, because this is going to be on the ballot, whether you think it's not,
right,
or it is or it isn't. It's going to be on the ballot in 25. It's definitely going to be on the ballot in 26. What did you do to defend conservatives and the conservative way of life when Charlie Kirk was murdered? That question will be asked. And if they were like, I sent out an X, I sent out a tweet, I posted thoughts and prayers, you're going to get blown out.
Yeah. Let me ask a quick question, Chris, because you put a lot of this at the foot of the left and of liberals. The talking point that I've heard a lot, especially from mainstream media, is that both sides do this, that both sides do the name calling, both sides do the division, both sides do the demonizing. And at least at some levels, it's hard for you to argue that, right? You've got Donald Trump referring to Democrats as vermin. You know, I mean, there's certainly some of that on the right too, right? I mean, this isn't just a Democrat thing, or is it?
So there's a difference between being vermin and being a Nazi.
Okay.
Right. And I think calling Trump or me or you or Alicia or Tom or Paul or, Dave McMullen or Brandi Kruse or any of these people, well, you're a Nazi. Well, that's insulting to the 6 million Jews that were murdered by Nazis, right? I mean, Donald Trump is not a Nazi. He's not a fascist. Mm-hmm. He, for his whatever you think about him, his lack of decorum and the fact that he just says what's on his mind. Okay, but that doesn't make him worthy of shooting, right? And listen, if someone's a piece of shit, someone's a piece of shit. That's different. Talking about their morality or their lack of morality, like Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
It is. Ferguson, in my opinion, is a piece of shit. Inslee was a piece of shit, right? And JT Wilcox was a piece of shit. He's a Republican.
He is a piece of shit.
I'm not real fond of John Braun either, right? I mean, we're going to name names, right? But
look,
at the end of the day,
Gergen, you're the guy burning down the town on your way out of town. You're like, you guys all suck. You got to go.
Well, you know what? That's the reality. I've never ever. I've always promised to tell people the truth. The truth.
No, I love that about you. Look, I love that about you. I love the fact that you're not kissing ass to kiss ass. You know what I mean? You're not. Well, I got to get along. Let's use JT, right? I'm not going to get along with JT Wilcox just because he's well positioned in the Republican Party in the state. I'm going to hold his feet to the fire and tell him what I really think about him, and I'm going to be honest and have some integrity. And a lot of politicians, just in general, don't do that.
I mean, generally speaking, he's a big cunt. I'm just going to put that out there.
Wow. Okay.
First curse word this whole show so far.
Look how many Democrats blindly got behind Biden, right? Oh, we support his reelection campaign. Dude couldn't tell you what he had for breakfast this morning.
Exactly.
And they just blindly just fell in hand over fist like, oh, I can't wait to reelect him. I mean,
so they talk about fascism, but they have not. Democrat voters have not elected one presidential candidate since Obama. Installed. Installed, because that's what they do. It's about control. It's about power and it's about control, and that's all it is. And with these Republicans that are weak, it's about staying relevant and taking the crumbs from the controlling party, because if I'm not involved, then I can't control and steer things for my personal interests.
Yeah.
Right. So it's better for me to just, go along to get along. And it doesn't matter about the 7 million people that live in Washington. They're on their own. They're just focused on what they have to do. Right. I mean, there's a lot of people in the Republican Party nation. Like, okay, so I'll quit picking on Washington Republicans. I'll pick on Nevada Republicans, Clark County Republican Party. Our current chairwoman is an absolute train wreck, complete train wreck. She was involved in trying to overthrow the party back in 2021. Like it cost the party $61,000 in lawsuits and the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's a complete train wreck. She's ineffective. Our political director here is a moron. She doesn't know what she's doing. She ran her own campaign and got blown out by like 20 points. And now all of a sudden they make her the political director here in Nevada, the largest county in Nevada. Las Vegas is Nevada, right? If there is no Las Vegas, then Nevada is just like a big wasteland, right? So this is not something that is just unique to Washington State. You go look at Oregon. Oregon's a complete train wreck and has been for the Republican Party for many, many years, right? Doesn't mean there's not some good conservatives there. There are some, right? But they're just like in Washington State. There are some, but there's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough people standing up with the balls to say what has to be said because they just don't want to deal with the backlash, right? And that is a human failure in my most humble opinion, which is why you have it everywhere, right? It's all 50 states. It's all 50 states, and even the good ones. People are like, oh my God, Florida's amazing. Florida is not all amazing when it comes to politics. But at the end of the day, it's more amazing than Washington. I'll say that.
Wow.
Right? It's more amazing in many ways than Texas. It's definitely more amazing than Nevada. And yet we persist. We push through these things on the right. We end up doing business with people that we don't necessarily want to do, but we have to build bridges and not walls. And unfortunately, the Democrats have built a wall so high and so thick, the party that's against walls, that I don't see any way that Democrats and Republicans, conservatives and liberals, furries and normal people are ever going to be able to get together and live in the same space without there being conflict.
So let's go back to that, because you said earlier that the parties are divorced. Like, you're spending weekends at Dad's house from now on. Like, there's no reconciliation. Is there anything that can be done to bridge this, or is this a permanent fracture?
I think it's a permanent fracture for in the current incarnation of our parties or our party system. I don't see there's any way to bridge the gap until this current generation of Democrats and this current generation of Republicans matriculate through, and the next generation, meaning Charlie's generation, the generation that Charlie was raising up, when that generation comes up, then maybe, hopefully, we will see, like we did, as tumultuous as the 60s were. I mean, think about all the people that got shot and killed. Like, everybody forgets Malcolm X. Malcolm X was also assassinated.
Yeah.
Right. So you had MLK, you had Malcolm X, you had JFK, you had RFK, right? And there were others as well.
Yeah.
And so then in the 70s, nobody really got whacked. And then in the 80s, some wacko tried to kill Reagan. And then in the 90s, nobody got whacked. Well, except for all the people that Hillary killed. But a lot of people got whacked there. But then you look in the 2000s, right? And so there's like this cycle of things. And so I believe that it's going to take probably, I think we're reliving the 60s in many ways here in the United States. It's just this cultural shift, right? So like you had the 1950s that was like, golly gee, how's it going today, right? Leave it to Beaver. And the 60s were not golly gee, right? Hippies and weed and acid and music was amazing, but yet we're fighting this war, right? And there was a lot of conflict in the streets, and you had civil rights, and you had all of this stuff, and then it ended up working itself out in the 70s, right? Mostly.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, was pretty good. I remember the 80s. I was a kid, but I remember the 80s. 80s was great.
I just want to point out that I was also a kid in the 80s, so I was around for 9/11.
Oh, there you go.
I want to point that out. So
well, then it was the age of leg warmers and neon.
He just meant that you looked really young, and you look like you're 21, 22 years old. That's what he meant.
I mean, we could totally go with that.
Right, Gergen?
What you said. So
weren't you in high school for 9/11?
No, I was 21.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I really was.
God, I was old.
So so we come out of the 80s, and then think about the 90s. The 90s was grunge, angry generation. This Gen X generation, the latchkey generation, got pissed off because they got basically abandoned by their parents.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
And then what's more important? Well, the new Bentley or the new big house or the house with the pool or what, everything wealth and greed is good, right? All of that generation basically forgot Generation X. And then we got angry, right? But then we ended up in war. And so things kind of changed. And then all of a sudden you had the millennials come in, right? We are square in the 1960s again, except in the 2020s. And I think that over time it will matriculate out, in my most humble opinion. God, I hope it does. And I think that we'll see a time of peace and calm. But this is just how humanity goes. You know what I mean?
George Washington warned against partisan politics.
100%.
And he warned against, and he said this is exactly where we will end up if we engage in partisan politics.
Beeler, in case you weren't aware, George Washington was the first president of the United States. He was.
You can slap him.
Anyway, hey Chris, let me ask a difficult question, and I don't know if I can put this in a way that makes sense for how my brain sees it. But most of these shootings we're seeing are from 16 to 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
Most of the upheaval we're seeing in our society is from that age demographic. The LGBTQ trans stuff is mostly in that, not completely, but mostly through that demographic.
Sure.
Crime rates in that demographic are higher. Are we just, as a society, raising children that cannot function in the real world? Like, is this is that the crux of all of this? Like, we as not necessarily as individual parents, but parents plus the schools, plus the government interference, plus the things you're not allowed to do. Have we just raised a whole bunch of kids that can't even handle having a bad day at school without wanting to change their identity or shoot someone they disagree with?
Yeah.
So Gen X, as we all know, we were basically told rub some dirt in it.
Right.
Yes.
Get over it, yeah.
You know,
my dad
you got an
used to
issue.
say,
Here's a
used to say-
tissue. Get the fuck out of the house. Right.
Right.
That was how we solved problems.
Yeah. My
So
dad used to
now-
tell me that my dad used to tell me that he had worse in his eye. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my foot could be dangling and my dad would look at me and say, yeah, I've had worse in my eye.
Right. Exactly.
Walk it off. Yeah.
Quit being a pussy, Kevin.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
That's just that's
Don't encourage him, Beeler. All right. go
right.
ahead.
So what happened was that our kids, a lot of them were overcorrected the other way.
Yeah.
Here's a trophy. I don't want you to feel left out. Oh, it's okay. It's 11 p.m. Sure, you can have some ice cream, right? Whatever you want to do, honey. Right. And so we ended up with this entire generation of kids that have been coddled and encouraged in things that are just fucking nuts. Right. Well, I feel like a girl today. Oh, that's okay, honey. You know, you can be a girl. Maybe you were born in the wrong body. Well, I don't know. Maybe maybe I had some bad fish for lunch. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's, you know, there's the reality is that we have lost all sense of center of morality of, you know, and that's not even religious morality, you know, and you know, and I completely respect Charlie's faith and different things. I don't necessarily agree with all of those things, but I have read Plato, I've read Aristotle, I've read Nicomachean Ethics, I've read, you know, a lot of these philosophers to understand the morality and how humanity came to agree on certain things, like it's not okay to kill people. It's not okay to steal things. It's not okay to do these certain things. Like, we have lost even that. Now, the church says that it's because we've kicked God out of schools, out of the home, and that may be true, right? But beyond that, we have kicked thinking out of and learning out of the home, out of the school, right? Like, when I was coming up, we had these things called McGuffey readers. Has anybody ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember those.
So
these
McGuffey readers were basically stories that taught children how to read, but they were also learning tools to help to form
morals and ethics,
and these types of
those.
things.
Yeah.
So, you know, the books that I was given to read as a kid were about like one of the first books I got, my father gave me. It was called Code of Ethics. It was written in like the 1920s, and it's basically a series of short writings. And I had to read these things. I had to write a report on it, and I had to give it to my father. Like, no one does that now. No one does that now. You know, now I did it with my kids, right? Because I didn't want my kids to grow up to be fucking idiots. But at the same time, they were not normal, right? They were not the normal kids at school. And that's not to say that my daughters were princesses and never made mistakes, or maybe did things that I wouldn't necessarily encourage them to do. But the reality is that my 24-year-old has a master's degree, and she is married, and she has an amazing life. My 28-year-old has a bachelor's degree, and she's married, and she has an amazing life, and they're normal, right? They're not immoral people, because they were raised.
Yeah.
Like, no meant no. Like, my daughters knew if I told them something and then they didn't obey, if I had to get up from where I was, they were going to get their ass beat, even if they stopped immediately when they saw me move.
Yep.
So it didn't take very long for them to figure out, okay, so when dad says this, but I also said, okay, here are your boundaries. You can do anything you want inside these boundaries. And as you get older and more responsible, those boundaries get farther and farther. And my philosophy was that if at 18 I had to parent my daughters, that I had failed as a father. Like, I should be nothing more than a friend and a wise counsel by the time they get to be 18, 19, 20 years old, because they have been trained to figure shit out on their own and to learn. All of that is gone, Kevin.
Yeah.
That is all gone from the majority of homes and children in the United States.
Yeah. And listen, and it backs up. I hate to back up something that Paul says, because, I mean, it'll just go to Paul's head. But, you know, Paul has talked for years about the agenda, right? The liberal agenda when it comes to kids. And this is part of that, of what he calls the liberal agenda playing out. You know, now you've made them dependent upon you. Well, they're dependent on you, so they don't want to move out. So they're not going to move out. So they can't buy the house. Well, now it's not a big deal that they can't afford the house, because they never want to move out of your house to begin with. So
that's right.
You know, and then the economic model, and the fact that now it takes an entire village to raise a child, because nobody is able to raise a kid by themselves, because now you got to have the whole neighborhood do it, and the government's got to be involved, and you need your handouts, and you need your support, you need, you know, it's just, again, I'm not conspiratorial, but when you look at the individual pieces, it forms a really nasty ladder. You know what I mean?
I don't think you need to be conspiratorial to believe that, Kevin. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think it's just the power of observation, right? Everybody says trust the science. Well, fuck, let's trust the science then. Let's just observe what is going on. We do this, and this, and we screw up an entire generation that lives with their parents until they're 30, you know, or 35. Some of them don't even move out. Like, you've got grown ass men wearing furry outfits, laying on the couch in their mother's house, because their mother's not married anymore.
Chris,
right?
Every time I hear you say furry, like it's just killing me. Like Chris Gergen is talking about furries.
You got to be careful, Chris. Tom is sitting right over here. I don't wanna-
Chris,
and like I said, I don't care if you're a furry. Then I say furry on, brother. I like, but I don't want to know about it.
I am not a furry, my friend.
I don't want to hear about it. Right?
I wish the furries would just stay on mom's couch, because the last instance of a furry here in Seattle was some asshole who dressed as a sea turtle and was crawling back and forth across a street in West Seattle, holding up traffic.
Yeah.
Wow.
From the ferry.
That asshole needs to go sleep on mom's couch and leave society alone.
No.
So that's what I would say. So you got a comment here from Lilac Cook, says, "What's normal, Chris?" So let me answer that. Pretending to be a sea turtle crawling across traffic, probably not normal. Probably not normal. So what I'm talking about is social norms, right? Social graces.
Yeah.
It's not normal for a 35-year-old grown-ass man to be living on his mom's couch in his basement, having never. They even made a movie about it called Failure to Launch.
Yeah.
Right? So like when I was a kid, like I was 17. It's a true story. I was 17. My father took me and dropped me off at university and said, "If you need anything, call your grandparents." Right? I had no money, no credit card, no nothing. So what I had to do is I had to figure out how to get $50. And so I'm not going to tell you what I did to get $50, but whatever, you guys can use your imagination. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you exactly how I got it. I was good at pool. I am still good at pool. And I went and I hustled for it. Right. So I got $50. I went and bought a bike. I took that bike and I went down to the local Lowe's Home Improvement, and I got a job at Outside Lawn and Garden making $7.25 an hour. And I started earning money, going to school full time, riding my ass to Lowe's, getting home at 11 p.m., riding home in the dark, up both ways in the snow, and and going to school. And it was a fucking miserable experience, right? And then I moved to Baton Rouge, transferred to Louisiana State, and I literally rode my bike 25 miles to work and 25 miles home because that was the closest Lowe's to where I lived, because I lived on campus, right? No one does that now. I lived in an apartment, $195 a month. I split the rent with the roaches, right? I would get up in the middle of the night, go to the kitchen, turn the light on. There'd be a roach in there smoking a cigar, reading the newspaper, right? I mean, that's the kind of place it was.
Your college experience is sounding a lot like mine.
Yeah. But you know what? I had no furniture. I had to sit on the floor. I would buy a 12-inch Blimpie sub, because we didn't have Subway. It was called Blimpies. And I would chop it up into 4 or 5 different pieces, and I would eat one piece a day, so I had something to eat.
Wow.
Right? No one struggles like that.
Yeah.
No one struggles like that anymore. And this generation needs to learn how to struggle. That's why they're so weak, in my most humble opinion. I could be wrong.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't run for office. Like, I know you're the man behind the scenes and you help coordinate.
I tried that once. I tried, Kevin. I ran for office. I tried to run for office, and I found out that I don't like humans. And so there is absolutely no possible way that, like, somebody's going to give me some shit on the doorstep, which did happen. And then I would blow them up. Like, I have a terrible temperament. I tell people all the time, I am not a good person. And so, and I know this about myself. And so, there's no way that I could deal with it, because I would just go blow somebody up. I like being on this side, and I like the organization. I love the combat. That's why I'm in politics. I like to ruin people's aspirations and dreams. And it is I enjoy being a nightmare. And, that's on the right. I love being a nightmare for the left and being a nightmare for the establishment.
Yeah. I don't know how we became friends, because I messed everything up, but somehow you and I became friends along the way, Chris. So I appreciate you.
Well, because I look at you as a human, Kevin. I think you're a great guy. I really do. And I mean, all jokes aside and sarcasm,
even though he's a beta,
fantastic human being.
Hold on, Chris. Am I an alpha or a beta?
If
Help
you
me out
have
here.
to
What do you think?
ask,
No, I want to, because I want Chris's opinion. Do you think I'm an alpha or a beta?
An alpha or a beta? Is this stemming from that conversation the other day?
It's back to wolf science.
Oh yeah, and
back to wolf science.
I got Corey in the chat saying I'm a beta and whatever.
I don't know, man. What I do know is the word on the street is you were quite the player back in the day. So
hey,
out there chasing that tail.
Hey,
You know
you
what
gotta-
I'm talking about.
You got to do what you got to do, right, Chris? You gotta do
Right,
what you gotta
exactly.
do.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Chasing
Chris,
that furry.
you do have to do what you got to do.
We opened this hour earlier with a question that Tom posed, and I want to double back to it before we wrap this up. Tom asked how did you phrase it, Tom? If the loss of Charlie Kirk is going to make the movement stronger or weaker, does it increase the movement? Does it build the movement, or does it weaken? Was that what you asked?
No, because I'm certain that what Charlie Kirk has put in motion is going to absolutely explode. It has no choice but to.
It is. It already is.
Yeah, I think the big question, it goes back to that idea of mom and dad, the GOP, the DNC at the federal level, the big entity. I know where you think, or I know what you said earlier, Chris. You think that, the divorce has already happened.
Mhm.
But really, I think of the divorce as like, we're going to start shooting each other in the streets. That's the divorce. And I think the big question is the death of Charlie Kirk going to speed us in that direction? Or is it going to actually slow things down? Now, I don't think you're wrong about the Democrat Party. I think the Democrats are probably done in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't think you're far off on that. But that has to be like a non-violent, metamorphosis. It can't just be, guns blazing between the two parties, because then that's going to create, resentment and animosity, and that's going to perpetuate the violence more. So I'm just curious if we're only going one of two ways. We're at a T intersection. We can turn left, we can turn right. There is no continue to go straight.
Yeah, I think that that's actually a really good question, Tom. I don't think anybody actually has we're going to find out, right?
Yeah, that's all we can do, right?
I think my opinion, though, is that if my fear, maybe not fear is not the right word, my concern, you're going to see and are seeing in real time an explosion of support for Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA across the nation, right? And I think that you will see that for.
Well, we're even seeing it globally.
Well, no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but the problem
huge.
So here's the challenge, Tom. This could be the fly in the ointment. Is the ego, right?
Well, that's what's gotten us where we are.
Right. Ego.
Yeah.
Insecurity. Basic humanity gets involved. I think it was Billy Graham. God, I hope I don't catch on fire for quoting Billy Graham, but Billy Graham said that church would be an amazing place if it wasn't for all the people. And I think that because it's a messy business, right? Because you're in the people business. It's a messy business.
Right.
In my business, I get to be mean. In the church business, you don't get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And in politics, you're when you're trying to build an organization, what made Charlie powerful was that he had a pastor's heart and a pastor's spirit. And he was willing, that's why he could stay so calm. And as the organization grows, I hope that egos and the darker parts of humanity don't destroy the beautiful thing that we could build over time.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot like, it's going to depend on how big the foundation is, right? So let's say we're building a house, you lay a foundation, and the foundation's this wide. If you build a house this wide, everything not on the foundation will fall off. And so that's what I think that you're going to see. We're going to find out how deep and how wide the foundation and Turning Point really is, probably within the next 2 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next election, honestly, if they're able to mobilize people like they did in 24, then I think that will be a pretty serious tell as to how deep and broad Turning Point USA's foundations were and are.
I think it's very possible, Chris, that the murder of Charlie Kirk works against Democrats in a really massive way.
Agreed.
Like that,
Oh, it can't help but to.
Well, I had kind of assumed, yeah, and Chris, you'll agree with me, like traditionally, historically in this country, when one party gets a hold of the House and the Senate and the White House, at the next midterm, there's some return to center. There's some return to center. Some seats flip back to the minority party. You might lose one section or the other. You don't continue dominating when you get to that midterm. You really have like a 2-year window to do some damage before some of that erodes. And that's kind of what I expected next year. I thought, okay, Republicans have got everything. There's going to be some Trump hangover effect kicking into play. Some people are going to want to break, and you're going to see some of these seats slide back blue. I don't believe that now.
So,
I totally believe right now that there's going to be enough of a rallying cry behind Charlie Kirk, and the loss and what he meant, and the backlash against these libs that want to celebrate his death, and they didn't do themselves any favors by going out public and making these public proclamations about how glad they were he was gone. Like I think the midterms now look like a royal ass kicking. Not in Washington because we're dumb, but nationwide.
Well, think back, y'all. So in 2022, Republicans got their asses slapped, and it was because of the abortion issue.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yeah.
And this could have that same effect in reverse, right? For the blue team. It always seems like crises happen to Republicans to screw them over, and very rarely does it happen to Dems. But now it seems like they're starting to get at cross purposes with themselves, right? So I'll give you an example. In LGBTQ plus, the L's, the G's, and the B's are not, by and large, on board with the T's and the Q's and the plus.
Yeah.
And I have heard many, many, many lesbians, gays, and bis on the subject of trans and whatever furries and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And they feel like those people
the furries
have hijacked the LGB. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so now
we've
they're
interviewed
starting
gays
to lose that coalition, and a lot of lesbians, gays, and bis are coming over to the conservative side because they realize we really don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah. We've interviewed Gays Against Groomers on here several times on this show. And they've echoed the exact same thing. Like, we are all for the rights of the LBGs, right?
Well,
but we do not subscribe to the trans movement. Like that, they've come out vocally about it.
I remember one of the last interviews we had with what was her name? It was Alex with
remember.
Gays Against Groomers.
It might have been. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Anyways, it was when we were upstairs at the KITZ studios.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and somebody asked her, I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked her, what are your pronouns? And the look on her face was like, don't stop it. So I think that goes to Chris's point. I found that kind of interesting, at that point in time.
Chris, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll work behind the scenes to get you and your candidate rescheduled because I'm really excited for that interview. That guy sounds like he's going to be a hoot to talk to.
Oh, you'll love him. He's the bomb.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll either I'll coordinate with you or Beeler will coordinate with you. One of us will. We'll get that rescheduled. I want to thank you for taking some time, spending an hour on your Sunday night with us, and just sharing your knowledge and your experience. All I ask is when you take Tom down there, just don't let him get lost. Because
I won't.
Stop it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a rope. I'm going to tie a rope around him. And that way he can't wander off in the desert.
If he gets lost, you're gonna have to drive to Pahrump, and it'll be a thing. And just don't let that happen.
It was really good to see you again, Chris.
Good to see you too.
Are you headed up this way anytime soon?
Probably in October.
Okay. If you're in town on a Sunday, would you come be in studio with us?
Hell yeah, I will.
Okay, we would love to have you. 3 hours with Chris Gergen would be great.
Yeah. It would.
I don't know if I can handle 3 hours of the alpha dog over there.
That's right. Thank you, sir. Well, us Navy guys, man, we got to stick together.
That's right.
That's right.
Chris, when we get down to Vegas, I'll shoot you a message and we'll try to connect.
That sounds good, man. I'll be around.
All right, great. Thank you.
Chris Gergen, Dark Horse Political, friend of the show, all around good guy, and a really just knowledgeable dude, man. Thanks again. Go Navy, beat Army.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys, we're gonna take our top of the hour bumper break. When we come back, we should have one Brandi Kruse lined up and ready to come on the show with us. So, Chris, I'll leave you in the queue back there if you want to listen to the chat with Brandi. You can just kind of stay in the background. If you want to leave it up to you, I'm not gonna kick you out, but you can stay there if you want. We'll take our break, and Dennis is gonna hopefully give us a little later break because Kayla's got to go use a little boys' room, and yeah. I'm about to go blow something up. All right. I love you guys. Stick around. One more hour to go. It will include Brandi Kruse. It will include Dave McMullen. It will include some football. It'll include some tales of the Derby and more.
Yes.
Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
It's all on the table. Hosted by K-Dog in St. Paul. Black Tom, the CEO, boss baby, DJ D. Outlaw Radio Network. Tune in, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Outlaw Radio Network. Tune in, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
Admin a la carte are specialized local experts committed to helping you run your small business. From general admin and sales support to marketing, digital media and technology to real estate and compliance, Admin a la carte's only goal is to take your business to the next level. Find out how Admin a la carte can elevate your business. Visit admin-alacarte.com for more information. That's admin-alacarte.com. Admin a la carte. Your business doesn't fit into a box. Why should you have to?
Are you ready to elevate your spirits? Look no further than Black Rain Spirits, your local craft distillery nestled in Town Square Mall. Indulge in the smooth richness of our handcrafted spirits, meticulously distilled to perfection. Whether you prefer the bold kick of our bourbon or the subtle sophistication of our gin, Black Rain Spirits has something for every palate. Visit us today at Town Square Mall and experience the essence of true craftsmanship. Black Rain Spirits, where passion meets perfection, unconventionally traditional. On a recent episode of the Outlaw Radio Network,
some of our listeners even appreciated you dumbing it down for them. So, on behalf
Sometimes
of
I have to mansplain for people like. By the way, mansplaining is when men explain things to a woman in a condescending tone. I just mansplaining.
That's the Outlaw Radio Network Sunday nights at their new time from 6 to 10.
Admin a la carte are specialized local experts committed to helping you run your small business. From general admin and sales support to marketing, digital media and technology to real estate and compliance, Admin a la carte's only goal is to take your business to the next level. Find out how Admin a la carte can elevate your business. Visit admin-alacarte.com for more information. That's admin-alacarte.com. Admin a la carte. Your business doesn't fit into a box. Why should you have to?
Are you ready to elevate your spirits? Look no further than Black Rain Spirits, your local craft distillery nestled in Town Square Mall. Indulge in the smooth richness of our handcrafted spirits, meticulously distilled to perfection. Whether you prefer the bold kick of our bourbon or the subtle sophistication of our gin, Black Rain Spirits has something for every palate. Visit us today at Town Square Mall and experience the essence of true craftsmanship. Black Rain Spirits, where passion is perfection, unconventionally traditional.
This is Spike Cohen.
This is Jesse Young.
I'm Brandi Kruse, host of the Undivided Podcast.
And you're listening
to my friends on the
Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio, final hour of the show. Thanks for checking things out. We appreciate you. Thanks again to Chris Gergen for joining us, Frank Aquila earlier on. Beeler's here. Tom is here somewhere. Lori's here. Dennis is here. F-Bomb is here. Paul was in the chat. Hello, Paul. We're gonna now listen. We got 10 minutes with Brandi Kruse when I bring her on.
Dave's not here.
She's got a sore throat, so we're gonna be nice to Brandi.
Poor Brandi.
But we love Brandi, so let's bring Brandi Kruse on the line with us. Hello from wherever she lives over in the middle of nowhere. Hello, Brandi. How are you feeling?
No, I'm not even sick. I just have this tickle that I can't get rid of. And I was just doing an hour-long subscriber Q&A. And the whole time I was like coughing and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to my friends at Outlaw. But I'm fine. I'll manage.
It's great to see you. We missed you at the Derby yesterday. We're hoping we can get you on board next year. We'll talk about that later in the show too, about who won and how great it was and all that. So thanks for taking some time on a Sunday. We'll keep this down to that 10 minutes like we talked about. I'm not even going to ask you a question, Brandi. I'm just going to ask you to give your impressions about Wednesday, the loss of Charlie Kirk, the response we've seen since then, the whole kind of poo-poo platter of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's stunning, right? But it's really not surprising, is it? I mean, yeah, I think we're all heading towards this just really toxic clash in our country, and we've all felt it for a long time. I mean, it's an image. I don't know if I'll ever get that video out of my head. And actually, we were live on the air. Our show airs live at noon. And so in the minutes right before we went on, that news came out that he'd been shot. But I hadn't seen the video. Nothing was going on. So we started our show. We just sort of mentioned it. And then we were coming out of a commercial, and right on my screen, on my Twitter timeline, all of a sudden it starts just populating with the video, the gory video. And so my reaction was very much live and in the moment. And I think, like a lot of people who are sane on both sides or all ends of the political spectrum, we see that and we see it for what it is. We see it as a horrible moment for our country. We see it as a sad indictment for where we are in this country from a political perspective. I, in particular, I think see it as an indictment of where many young people are in this country. The shooter, I think, has to be deranged to do something like that. But you see this young man raised in a conservative home with a father who was a law enforcement officer, and within a matter of 2 years was indoctrinated in leftist ideology. I think a lot of that at college and on the internet and Discord channels, and went from, being raised in a fairly normal environment by all accounts to assassinating a political figure who he disagreed with. And that's a scary thing. But I think so much of what young men in this country are being exposed to kind of is not setting them up to go out and assassinate someone, but they can't form interpersonal relationships anymore. They live their lives on the internet. And, then they go to school for 8 hours a day and they're indoctrinated by wacko teachers. We've seen some of those in Washington State be exposed in the days following Charlie Kirk's death. So, yeah, it's just a whole lot of bad stuff that's happening in this country. And we're at a crossroads or a turning point, so to speak. And I wish I felt hope that we were going to start to go down a better path, but I don't know that this is the end of it.
Brandi, what is it about Charlie Kirk that makes this so impactful for the nation? We talked earlier in the show about the murders of the representatives in Minnesota, and then the senators that were shot. The senator was shot and his wife, and they lived. I didn't feel the same kind of like national, like, oh my God moment out of that. It was like, God, that's sad, but it wasn't this national, oh my God moment. Meanwhile, Charlie, who was not elected, who essentially inserted himself into the national dialogue, right? Like he created his role. And now why was he that catalyst that even these elected officials never were?
I think it's hard to put your finger on, right? Because there's acts of political violence that happen all the time. And you're right. I mean, what happened in Minnesota, so I will say there's some differences that are clear. You know, it seems like there was some really weird personal vendetta in the Minnesota case that had to do with like some sort of personal sort of thought process. And not to say that wasn't the case with Charlie Kirk, but I don't know, you know, Charlie represented, I think obviously he was much more prominent. So maybe that's part of it, right? When it comes to the conservative movement and President Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, he was one of the top 5 voices, very close to the president of the United States. And ultimately, all he was doing was trying to have conversations with people and invite them to disagree with him. And instead, somebody shot him in the neck and killed him. So to me, I think that's what was so profound is like, if you actually watch Charlie Kirk's stuff, you know, the people's perception of him on the left versus who he was and what he actually did are so far apart. I mean, did he have like conservative views? Yeah, he was a conservative. He was a religious conservative. There was no view he held or espoused that would be surprising for a man of faith and a conservative Trump supporter, like none in the world. And so I think, you know, he would go out and he would have these debates and, you know, like on radical gender ideology, and he would sit across from or right in front of people who were transgender. And if you ever watched any of the videos, he treated them with love and respect and understanding. And he, you know, wouldn't abide by the fantasy that they could just change their gender. And he was honest with them about that. Maybe the only person who'd ever been honest to them in their lives about that. And so to see him painted as like this hateful bigot for wanting to actually do something that everyone in this country encourages. Everyone gives the lip service of, oh, we need to talk to each other and we need to try to, you know, build bridges and whatever it is. He was actually doing it. They just still didn't like what he had to say. There's this population of people that doesn't want to build bridges with someone who they disagree with.
Last question. We're at our 10-minute mark.
You're fine. You're fine.
Work really hard to respect that. But how much worse is this going to get? I mean, when we talked with Chris Gergen last hour, one of the things Chris said is sometimes this thing is cyclic, right? Like we saw it in the 60s. We saw there was a mess of political assassinations and attempted assassinations in the 60s. Then it kind of chilled out in the 70s and it didn't happen, and it kind of auto-corrected course. And then the 80s, you saw it and then it auto-corrected again. Is this going to get a lot worse, do you think? Or is this enough of a face slap that it starts to autocorrect?
Well, I mean, I'm not Nostradamus, but you know
what? Wait a minute. Why are you on the show? Okay, go ahead.
I know, but you know, we've been warning about this stuff for a long time, and on a smaller scale. I mean, when you look at Antifa and the far left, which a big segment of the Democratic Party won't even acknowledge that Antifa is a real thing, that it even exists, right? And you saw how it started out. Like for the last 15 years in Seattle, I've been watching this trajectory of Antifa. And it started with like the Occupy movement. And they'd break some windows at the Nike store, or break a couple windows at the bank, and then scurry away from cops or whatever it is. And then you got into the Black Lives Matter movement in the summer of 2020. And the violence escalated, and they'd assault journalists, and they'd assault police officers, and they'd light things on fire. And then they're taking over 6 square blocks of the city. And then fast forward a couple more years and they're blocking interstates. They're taking over college campuses. They're blocking access to an international airport, like a hub of means of transportation and travel. And so you saw it continue to escalate, and you saw the posture of Democrats in power stay the same, where they would just blatantly ignore it or excuse it. And, you know, I always talk about Bob Ferguson being the chief law enforcer as the attorney general for 12 years. Yet we've got cops being assaulted, cop cars lit on fire, you know, riders stealing police rifles and shooting them at random. And he said nothing about any of it. And to me, that's permission to keep doing it. It's permission to keep doing it. And so it doesn't surprise me that the far left in this country has taken things to such an extreme because they've been led to believe that the man in power is literally the second coming of Hitler, that this is a make or break for our existence as a country. So when you really think about that, like, and I use this example all the time, if you genuinely thought that someone was Hitler reincarnate, right? Would you not do anything in your power to stop that person?
Yeah.
Yes, right? Like
Yeah.
you would do anything it took. Because I mean, how often is the example used of if you could go back in a time machine and kill Hitler, would you do it? Kill baby Hitler? And everybody's like, of course I would, right? So when you have these people, a lot of them young people who are socially inept, who can't form interpersonal relationships, so they don't really see people as human beings. They're used to, you know, communicating everything through a computer screen. There's no context of life and humanity and personality. And then you have the highest, you know, people in the highest positions of power who, through their silence and inaction, have essentially endorsed violent extremism as a response to ideas that you disagree with. It's really not a big leap to go from there to killing people. It's really, really not. And, you know, I get, you should look at my Facebook right now. People are livid that I'm saying that it really is the left that has to contend with its political violence problem for the country to move forward. And everybody wants to go, yeah, but what about January 6th? And I will throw up if I hear one more Democratic politician try to couch their political violence problem or somehow excuse it or absolve themselves by referring to January 6th. You know, I don't have to say, I've said it a million times, January 6th was a national embarrassment, but you cannot have 500 instances of left-wing political violence and excuse it by saying, yeah, but January 6th.
Yeah. Because for every January 6th, there was 1,000 instances of them burning down their own communities, their own businesses, their own neighborhoods.
Well, even January 6th was blown way out of proportion. I did quite a deep dive into it with, you know, books and surveillance videos and timestamps and all that. And there's just a lot of bullshit wrapped around January 6th.
Yeah, I mean, I have to look at it with a level of consistency and say, if that were BLM rioters who did exactly what you know those Trump supporters did on January 6th, would I ever try to water it down? And the answer has to be no, right? But you know, I think Governor Cox in Utah said it really well, and it's an example of the difference here. You know, after George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, like cities were lit on fire, and widespread looting and violence and vandalism for months on end. What happened after Charlie Kirk was assassinated in front of his family and the whole world? People prayed. People had candlelight vigils.
Yeah.
You know, people talked about it like we're doing now. We're not the same.
Yeah.
We're not the same. And I'm not saying we're not the same, the left and right. I'm saying, you know, there's people who celebrate assassination and there's people who don't. Those are the two groups that we're in. There's people who are violent toward their political opponents, and there's people who are not. And, you know, I think that we have to give up on believing that anyone who celebrates political violence, anyone who excuses political violence or stays silent on it is capable of change, because I don't think they are. So we have to somehow push them out of our national dialogue. We have to stop platforming and responding to them. And political leaders have to stop giving them cover by being silent about their conduct.
Brandi, I'll tell you, as somebody who's in church every Sunday and knows a lot of people that are in different churches in the area, I will tell you that this morning, the turnout in much of our churches were way higher than what we've normally said. I know that in my church, we were at standing room only in one service, pretty close to packed on the second, and had more in the third. It's amazing, right? And if that might be Kirk's lasting legacy, right? Is getting people involved, not just in the faith, but in their communities, in the party, in the government, in their communities, right? That might be his lasting impact.
Yeah. And can I tell you that I went to church for the first time today since I was a child.
Wow.
And I am, you know, famously not religious. I talk about it on the show all the time. I don't think I'm an atheist per se, but definitely organized religion is not my thing. But I got invited from Pastor Russ at Pursuit Church to go to their service today. And look, you know, was it my thing? Yeah, probably not. I found it very emotional. It was a wonderful message. But I think the reason why I accepted the invitation is, you know, it kind of got lost on me this week that it wasn't just an attack on conservatives. It was an attack on people of faith. It was an attack on Christians and traditional values, maybe more than anything. And that's what Charlie Kirk said, he'd been asked, if when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? And he wanted to be remembered for his commitment to his faith and to his Lord and Savior.
Right.
And so, that's kind of what made me like, no, I should be at church today. If not for me, then for the other people who are hurting because they feel like their faith was attacked. And I also, I've been feeling more and more of a pull toward sort of getting back somehow into the lessons of the Bible, whether that's just reading it or whatever it is. And that's because a couple reasons, the best people I know are people of faith. And even though I'm not, I can see that there's got to be a reason for that, right? There's a morality component to it that I can understand and appreciate and connect to. So I think that has me thinking as well about sort of trying to get back into some semblance of those teachings. But also, like I referenced, faith does have to do, it's hand in hand with morality.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with how we treat one another and how we walk in this life that we have. And so, yeah, I think that's what Charlie brought into his, what he did politically. And I can see that now. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the churches were full today.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let you go. But one last thing. I just want to tell you that I saw the video of you asking questions of our beloved Governor Bobblehead. And I just want to commend you for asking the question and then going back for seconds on the question. And I think his response to you of, I've already answered that question when the schmuck never did, was just really indicative. I thought you did a really good job of allowing him to show his own stripes, Brandi. I just wanted to, I know that, we're a little tiny compared to the vast Brandi Kruse empire, but I just wanted to give you some props. I think you're amazing and we're proud to call you a friend.
Well, I appreciate that. Hey, at least they let me attend the press conference and didn't boot me out. So, not that I should give him credit for allowing that, but yeah, it's pretty stunning as the governor when you can't offer some sympathy to a state trooper who was murdered by an illegal alien because you're so ideologically beholden to the left. It's wild.
Yeah, I won't give him credit for letting you attend. You know why?
Because
his people. Well, no, because I think his people are inept because they let Tim Eyman stand behind him in a photo op. I mean,
that was hilarious.
Let's be honest. Like, I don't think anybody in the Ferguson like office is paying attention to their job. They're like, it's like Oprah. You can come in and you can come in and you can come in.
Actually,
no, I disagree.
I think his office, I think they tried to sabotage him.
Yes. I think that it's intentional. I don't think they like him. And I don't even think they told him I was going to be there.
Oh my God. I love that.
Yeah, so Brandi, you were keeping company with Tim Eyman because I think he was used the same way.
Yeah. Brandi, we love you. Feel better. Rest the voice up. You got a show tomorrow. Let's do this again. Let's chat soon. We have more time, and we appreciate you taking some time on a Sunday after your Q&A.
Good to see you again, Brandi.
Yeah, good to see you guys. And thanks for taking some time to talk, as you guys always do, so thoughtfully about the issues and this issue in particular. So
thanks, Brandi. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a good night.
Love you guys.
All right, there goes Brandi. Go drink some hot lemon tea. That's what you got to do.
Some Toasted Joe.
That's some Toasted Joe.
She likes Toasted Joe.
All right. Dave McMullen is going to join us in about 8 minutes. Does anything stand out from you guys, what we heard tonight from Gergen, from Brandi, from Frank? Anything that you guys want to double back on?
I think the analysis from Gergen on the silical of the repeat of the 60s, I think is very valid. And I think we've seen that throughout history, not just in the last, 70 years.
Yeah, history's like on about an 80-year cycle, really. It's about the lifespan of a normal human being, about 80 years. And you're going to see the same kind of cyclical behavior about every 80 years. Because as people,
it's happening more than that.
Talk in the microphone,
right? But as people are born and they're raised and they grow old and they die, some life lessons aren't passed on. So we as human beings are doomed to repeat them over and over and over.
I agree, but I think the decades are switched. We had the 70s with Biden in the White House.
Right.
And now we're back in the 60s, the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of like, okay, are we going to leapfrog over to the 80s or where are we going?
Can I answer what I think?
Do it.
I don't think we're going to do either. So here's what I thought.
Do you think we're going to sit in it?
I think we're going to a new decade. Like a whole new we haven't seen before. Here's the problem in the
country.
No,
we'll have seen it before.
No, we haven't seen this. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
we have a confluence of events today in our society, right, that have led us to where we are now, that we have never been before. We came out of a pandemic where we locked kids away, like Brandi talked about. We locked kids away. They couldn't build relationships. They couldn't have personal conversations. They got used to walking around with face coverings on, which dehumanizes people. That's something we haven't dealt with in this country since 1919 with the Spanish flu.
I was going to say that has been done because I was going to bring up the Spanish flu.
But
and there are anecdotes, historical anecdotes about the backlash after the Spanish flu.
Right. But on top of that, after the Spanish flu, you had to get out and interact with people.
Well, it's because communication and technology were different.
Exactly. So you had to get out and interact with people. You could not stay at home. You had to go face to face again. You had to retrain yourself. We've raised a generation of kids now that don't have to.
True.
They sit on Reddit and the internet, and they don't leave the house, and they don't interact with people. Kids don't play outside anymore. I'm not trying to
grass.
I'm not trying to sound like get off my lawn guy. I'm just suggesting that that's really what we're dealing with. So this is something we've never had before. On top of that, we add into the fact that we are raising generations of children without their fathers in the home. We are raising generations of fatherless children in single mother households. And single moms are great. Like I'm not knocking single moms at all.
You better not be.
No, I'm not.
Right,
but what I'm suggesting is, and again, Alicia's a single mom, and I'm not knocking you at all. But I think we would all agree that in an ideal world, kids would be raised by both parents in the same home together, so they have that support. So we have
absolutely agree.
We
with
have
that.
children raised in single parent households,
but that's
plus
not
the effects of that's not new, but that combined with the effects of COVID, combined with the internet, combined with Reddit, combined with the fact that they can't have personal relationships anymore, combined with the fact that we have relegated people into faceless blobs because we made them wear masks out in public for 3 years. Those are all new things we've never dealt with before.
Not in this life cycle.
Their online life is their real life.
Right.
And their real life doesn't exist.
And they're real. And so I agree with Gergen that it's all cyclical. But now it is cyclical into a new cycle that we've never met before, where the dehumanization of your neighbor, of the people that you don't agree with, is it a new low because you got used to not having a relationship with people, and you got used to dehumanizing them and looking at people as faceless blobs. Like, this is all new. We've dug down deeper into the pit of garbage than we've ever been before because of the sum of all this stuff.
Only in the life cycle of people that are living now, right? I mean, humanity, just in the United States, a very young country, humanity here. I mean, we've been in the toxic sludge before. I mean, let's not forget about slavery.
Yeah,
right. I mean, we have been an awful society before, and I just think we're an awful society right now, and we didn't know how to stop it because no one alive now was alive then.
Right.
So I think it's still part of the big cyclical thing that Chris was talking about, but we just don't know what we don't know because we weren't there.
Well, I hate you, and I think you're human garbage because you disagree with me. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you.
No, but again, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I just disagree. Right. I think there's new elements to this, and a couple people in the chat brought up AI as well, which is
that's going to be weird too.
I don't think AI is an issue right now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I think in 10 years from now,
5.
I think the children we bring into this world are not going to know how to write a freaking term paper. Like, they're not going to know how to do a homework assignment. Because remember what our teachers used to tell us: don't use a calculator because you'll never be able to have a calculator in your pocket wherever you go.
Right.
Guess what?
We do.
Wrong. And this AI thing is going to completely change the mental capacity of our children, their ability to be creative. Like Beeler, me, Laura, you, I don't know about Tom. Tom was smoking weed. But we had to be creative, right? Like we would do creative things and have creative stories.
Hey,
and
jackass!
Imaginations.
What do you think I do back there?
Okay, fair enough. You're right. Okay, but our kids are not going to have to be creative about anything. Oh, I have to come up with a story. Okay, Chat GPT, tell me a story.
But the thing is, they're going to miss that human element.
Yes.
Like, I wasn't creative. I'm not a creative person. Okay, I'm a copy paste. I'm a numbers person. That's my life.
Yeah,
we're the complete opposite.
Huh?
We are the complete opposite.
Yeah. But my creativity in high school was to have pizza ordered into the classroom. That was my creative. I'm a
Okay.
prankster.
She's a
That
problem
was the-
solver.
Pizza.
That was the best thing.
You did DoorDash before there was DoorDash. I
Right,
love
right.
that. Yes.
But the thing is, kids aren't going to have that, mental, creative, critical
Yeah.
thinking skills.
No.
So one of
they're
my
going to be copy and paste like I
Yeah.
am, but on a worse level.
Hang on. So until not too long ago,
What?
sorry.
What did you say?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna until not too long ago I've said it on the show many times. I was a very, very anti-AI guy, right? And I've come into a part of business where I had to embrace AI because that's
Tom
what
has changed his tune.
a little bit.
I know, because you were excited about it.
Well, a tiny bit, because so the way I look at it is if you approach AI as a tool, right? And
it's a tool.
It's a tool, but if you approach it as a tool in your trade, it's amazing.
And you own it.
And you own it, right?
Don't let it own you.
No, you have to be in control of it because otherwise it'll just run away and do weird shit.
Right.
But someone someone like me, I have zero musical talent, right? So if I grab AI and I say, "Oh, make me a little jingle," that doesn't make me a musician,
right?
And
But
that's
Tom,
the problem.
But here's the problem: you have a life
in something.
in which to balance your AI.
Right.
We have kids today
Mm-hmm.
that literally do not know how to answer a freaking telephone.
Well,
Yeah.
my
No,
friend,
we have kids today that cannot answer a telephone,
right?
Because they've never had to because they text. And
Right.
so Tom can use his years of knowledge to balance the AI, but we're going to raise kids in an environment where AI is like one of the main things.
But
they're not going to be able to have an imaginary friend. Hold on, Peter had something to say.
Okay, all right, and
I
then
did, but
wanna
it's
respond to
so
that.
far gone
She's
from
gonna
what
hit
we
me in
were
the private.
talking
I know.
about
Okay,
that it's not even going to make relevant sense. It
I-
goes back to the creativity thing.
Go ahead.
No, do it.
One of my favorite assignments that I've come up with as a professor in my American government class is to have my students write a term paper on why the founders chose to have a constitutional republic over a democracy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because it gets them thinking.
Right. But
because
here's-
their whole lives they've heard it's a democracy.
But I know. But here's the problem, right? Hold on. I'm going to go to ChatGPT.
But here,
Okay,
back
now-
to your point, Kevin, about in answering a phone call. I have a child like that who's an adult. Guess what? I charge him $50 if he needs me to make a phone call.
I hate talking on the phone, and I'm not a young person like that. Okay.
So here,
So he's learned to be frugal and not do it. He'll make the phone call.
well, so here's the other thing, though, Kevin. In response to that, you and I remember a time when there was no internet.
Yeah.
We remember a time when there were no home computers. We remember, a calculator was a big deal, right? We remember those.
TI-18 or T184 or whatever.
I just
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the one you could write out the numbers and it would look like boobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that was
hey,
fun.
I
That was
still
so
have my
fun.
I still have my engineering graphing calculator.
Yeah.
That as a what TI-98 or whatever. I mean, it's insanity. But I mean, I don't remember what year it was, but it was the late 90s, and we at that point in time we were just coming up with the first college graduates that had never not known the internet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right, that was the late 90s, like 98 or something.
That was the year I graduated high school, by the way.
and so you
Yeah.
were one of those first graduates
Yeah.
that had never not known the internet.
Yeah, you finally get on the internet and then somebody picks up the damn phone and you get kicked off. And you're
Right.
like, what the hell? I just waited an hour for that to connect.
Right, but the internet was still an available tool to you, right?
Yeah, it was.
When
It
I was
was.
going to college, I studied anthropology the first time through.
Why?
That's a long story for another time.
Okay.
There was a hot girl.
No,
the story.
the hot girl was actually that was funny. A blood draw on campus. I have a ridiculous
Oh
story
my
about
gosh.
that.
Okay.
But again,
All right.
yeah.
Where's Dave?
I don't know.
But
I sent him a message.
But
Oh, okay.
what I'm getting at though is like the kids of today that I mean they were born into the internet. Not only were they born into the internet, they were born into like high speed and broadband.
Oh, yeah.
instant gratification.
Everything's in their hand. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
yeah,
Alicia,
yeah.
at least you remember that it would take you 45 minutes to load a picture for dial-up internet.
It would. It was so awful. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
I remember when
Yes.
I remember Dennis told me that his favorite part of technology was when you would go to the upper channels on the TV and Cinemax was like all static. Then you just
Yeah, every once in a while you
glimpse.
catch a boob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dennis was like that was the best part of the
Yeah, good times, good times. Yeah.
Right. And if you were really, really lucky, like every, third Tuesday, it was 2 boobs. Those do come in pairs.
Yeah.
But I mean, where I was going though, Kevin, is I don't even think the comparison between the youth of today that are going to be dealing with the dawn of AI, I don't think the comparison between our youth and the youth of today is even. I mean, you can't even have that conversation. It's like comparing, the 70s to real Star Trek. It just it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to troubleshoot something.
Are you trying to get Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying.
Well, I mean, the rest of us could go ahead and carry on a conversation because you punching buttons isn't that exciting.
No, it's hell of exciting. What are you talking about?
Well, and it's kind of like today's youth, okay?
Okay.
30 and under, maybe 35.
Okay.
What is it? The anti-theft is a stick shift.
Yeah.
Write things in cursive.
There he
put
is. I see
captions
him
in
now.
Cursive, blah blah.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, you may as well be Leonardo da Vinci writing in cursive.
I was writing cursive in kindergarten and got in trouble by it.
What?
Yeah. And my mom had to come in to my teacher and talk to my teacher. And my mom was like, if she wants to write in cursive, she can write in cursive.
Yeah.
Like,
Just because I couldn't read cursive. That was the problem.
Yeah,
All right, hey, let's go to the phone. Let's go to our video chat. Joining us from somewhere in Pierce County. I'm going to make your camera hot now, Dave, so don't pick your nose. Dave McMullen, he is the head of the Pierce County Republican Party. All-around good guy, good friend of the show.
Yes.
And Dave, we're friends. You and I are friends,
salt
right?
of the earth right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Why do you have to start that with everybody you bring
I'm
on?
just trying to make sure that I'm still friends with people because
He's
I'm never
insecure.
sure. I'm never
Let me qualify. We're still friends, but I only came on because of Beeler.
Yay! Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for that, Dave. I appreciate it. Dave, it's
Sure
good to
not
see you,
my
man.
ugly ass.
Long time no speak. We need to get you in studio sometime and do a longer form show. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring you on for a few minutes from a local level. Somebody who's active in the Republican Party, an active conservative. I wanted to give you some time to kind of talk about, everything that's happened since Wednesday, the passing of Charlie Kirk, what the response that we've seen, both good and bad, and kind of where you stand on everything tonight.
Well, of course, it was incredibly shocking. Wednesday was a crazy day for us. I mean, we're currently doing the Washington State Fair, and we've had an incredible amount of people that have stopped by the booth to talk about how horrified they were about Charlie. And there's a lot of people that are just I saw some things where they said that this is our turning point, and I have to believe that. My church today, I heard you earlier, you were talking about how your church was overloaded. Mine today was just completely full. It was, and our pastor did a very moving tribute to Charlie. My wife, who isn't particularly political, has really taken to this, and she cried, and I think that it's woken her up. She's a school teacher. She puts up with all the crap that goes on in our public schools. It's just it's been surreal. We started, my good friend David Pretzman from the party. He made a whole bunch of different T-shirts honoring Charlie Kirk, and we're selling them at the fair, and all the proceeds are going to Turning Point. And these things are just selling like hotcakes. If you stop by the fair, stop by our booth. If you buy a shirt that has Charlie Kirk or Turning Point on it, those shirts are being 100% are going to Turning Point. But besides that, I don't know if you saw it today over in Yakima, there was thousands of people for a vigil for Charlie. It's been amazing. I had the opportunity to meet him in 2022 when the Pierce County Party teamed up with One Washington and we hosted an Olympic conference, and Charlie was the keynote speaker. I was just amazed at his, at the time he was about 28 or so, and he was just amazing. His poise and talking. We've definitely lost a huge voice, but I do believe from what I've seen, there's going to be a huge wave of people. We're going to have more Charlie Kirks than we'll know what to do with. I was reading that there's been like over 32,000 applications nationwide to start high school turning point chapters.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So we mourn right now. We still have to have his funeral, but I do think that there's a great awakening that's going to be happening and is happening right now. And I'm just looking forward to it. Carrying on his legacy. I posted on my Facebook how, Charlie died, but his path was set with his commitment to the Lord. And it's up to all of us to get straight and find our path, because we're all going to die. Charlie was taken by a bullet, but we're all going to die. And we need to stand up for America, for Christ, and for ourselves.
Yeah.
Dave, from a local level, I know you mentioned being out at the fair, which, I mean, the timing on that is I mean, I want to say it's not that what happened to him is but the fact that you guys are out public and able to talk with people, I think, is a huge benefit to process and let people talk and get information. What else are you hearing from people that maybe aren't politically affiliated, that have not been part of a party, that really didn't get tied up in politics, that were inspired by what they've learned about Charlie?
I have to admit, I've been so busy. I wasn't at the fair this weekend, but I get a whole lot of reports from different people. It's an experience that people don't like violence, and when something happens of this nature, it wakes you up. And if it doesn't, there's a real problem there. I've noticed that people are all over social media going after people that have anything disparaging to say about Charlie. I've seen where there's like one guy was saying that they've caused 60,000 people to get fired by attacking their employers for the social media posts they have. And I generally don't like that on either side. But to say things about Charlie Kirk in the manner that some of these people have, they need to find out that their selfish, ignorant opinions hurt people.
Yep.
And I have no sympathy for them losing their job.
Not me either.
The left never had any problem trying to cancel out people.
Mhm.
There's been attempts to cancel me out and my wife over the years. A lot of it had to do with COVID and masks. And my wife at the school district, I was so proud of her. She, when they were trying to tell everyone that they had to have pronouns in their email, my wife said, well, my pronouns are no pronouns, so I have no pronouns. And if you dare question that, I'll sue you, because my pronouns are no pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that, but it's just, usually I have a lot to say about things, but sometimes just this event has left me it took me about 24 hours before I could even post anything on my social media. And by then there was nothing I could add that hadn't been posted thousands of times over.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did post something, but this is a surreal time, and I'm really looking forward to see how everything transpires from this. I mean, this could be our Dobbs decision, where in 22 we lost a lot of races that we probably would have won if it wasn't for that.
I really feel like this is going to be the turning point. It's
Yes.
literally, I think it's coming true right now.
Yeah,
This is
no,
it.
it's. I think there's still some shock value, but you can feel it. I mean,
Right.
it's there.
It's
And
palpable. It really is.
yeah, no, it's almost unspoken in many ways, but you know, it's definitely there. So I'm just looking forward to the future, my grandkids' future. I think we've got the opportunity to change the world. But I will tell you something. We as a society need to go after the colleges. The universities and the colleges are brainwashing our young people.
They're not a place of free thought anymore.
This guy that shot Charlie, I can't tell you how many friends that I have that Christian conservative, raised their kids right. They sent them off to college and they came home brainwashed and becoming transgender. So for the left to be going, oh, he was a Mormon, he was, his dad was a cop, and taught him how to use guns and stuff. That kid was raised right, and then they sent him to college. That is the problem. That is the one thing that I will say. Don't send your kids to college. My kids went and did online college, and they turned out just fine.
I went to college a Democrat and returned a Republican. So
Yeah, but you're weird.
I know. I'm so weird.
We're gonna
So
put that
weird.
into a promo that
I
was
know. I'm
weird,
so
shocking.
weird.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
What do you think this is going to do for Washington State, like the big picture?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Good
the
question.
Washington State has. I mean, we've been suffering under a supermajority for a while, and to my opinion, a supermajority from either side is not healthy.
No.
But I mean, in this case, it's been since 88 or 86 or whatever. I mean, it's been a long haul. What do you see for the future of the Washington State? Just Washington State politics in general.
Well, I mean, truthfully, it's still early to tell. Washington is such a weird state. It's the only state that shifted more to the left when every single state, including California, had a shift to the right in 2024. So I'm optimistic, though. I think that one of our problems is our base never is engaged. We have so many people that don't vote. We've had so many Christians that don't vote, gun owners that don't vote. We have the statistics, and it's shocking. I think this is the type of event that can wake these people up, and we start seeing more victories, on our side. Swing states shifting to light red, deep blue going light blue. We could have an opportunity in the 8th and the 3rd congressional races, just by the amount of people that probably will get engaged this time, that normally just, don't vote. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of optimism, but I'm not going to say that it'll be enough for Washington State. Nationwide, it's going to be huge, very huge.
Agreed. I think the West Coast is, I don't know. The West Coast is lost.
I don't know. I think we
optimistic over
might
there.
see I think we might see some equilibrium here.
I mean, that's all I want is a balance.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I was saying earlier, it takes both parties. I mean, if you look at a business, if you have a business that's doing really, really well, put a conservative in charge, because they're going to stay the course and they're going to keep going down that successful path. But if you have a business that's struggling, put a liberal in charge, because they think creative. A moderate liberal, I'm not talking anything crazy, but you put a liberal in charge and let them be creative and let them find a new way to make the business more successful. And that's some basics. So you need a balance between conservatism and liberalism. You just do.
If they don't bankrupt you first.
Like I said, a moderate. I mean, there's a lot of caveats on.
No,
on
I
that,
know,
right?
I know.
I mean,
I'm just
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's true in business, true in politics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, if you want to put Tom in his place, just ask him how the Cougs did yesterday.
Oh,
hey,
ow.
Listen, before we wrap this
That
up,
was
Dave,
a dick move, dude.
and we really, I just asked him a question, man. I'm a reporter. I just asked the question.
You're a reporter. You're a
That was a
podcaster.
needle.
Come
I'm a
on, buddy.
journalist. Thank you very much, Dave. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you before we wrap this up. You know, there is a pretty big election coming up to fill that vacant seat for the Washington State Senate race. Is Michelle Caldier is up against somebody whose name I can't pronounce. I won't even try.
Krishna Danson.
I'm not going to try. I said.
I've been practicing as I
Cock-a-doo-doo.
as
I
I
gave
drive
up
past.
trying myself, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
See, one of her big campaign signs is between my house and the distillery. So every time I drive by it, I make it a point to try to break it down in my head just so I can talk about it on the podcast.
Is it the one that right before you get down to Mile Hill?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
just
I
past
do
the
the
McDonald's.
same
It's a great big
thing.
thing.
It's like old home week over here.
Krishna Dan, I think
I
I'm missing
can't do
another
it. I
D in
can't.
there. It's
Whatever.
Krishna
It's
Dan.
Deb.
Anyway.
Her name is Deb. Dave, how are you feeling? You know, the 26th district does go down into Pierce County, so you guys obviously have a dog in this fight. How are you feeling about Michelle Caldier's attempts to move that seat back red, where it had been for a really long time before?
Well, after Wednesday, I'm feeling extremely well because
Yeah.
the primary was very tight. Our people didn't necessarily turn out.
Yeah.
Michelle didn't get her comfortable win that she usually is accustomed to. And there's
You're talking about in the primary, right?
Primary.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but it's still very close. And we were starting to strategize our get out the vote efforts and stuff for that race. And I do believe that Wednesday, both for her and Chad Magendas down in the 5th Senate seat, we have two of them that we can get. I think this is like our dog's decision. There's going to be a huge turnout of people in the 26th, and I'm not going to guarantee victory, but I'm feeling in the sorrow of what happened to Charlie Kirk, I'm feeling extreme optimism that we're going to win it.
Dave, let's do this again sometime. Let's get you on where we can actually spend a good hour with you and talk about all the stuff and everything going on.
Anytime. Now that Alicia's on the show, I'll
I love you, Dave. I miss you so much.
Whatever, Dave.
It's so good to see your face.
I'm glad you're back in Washington.
I am so glad to be back in Washington. I missed my people.
She missed the Outlaws, like she couldn't stay away.
That's exactly who I was not talking about. But if that makes you feel better, Kevin.
That's right. Well, she missed
Yeah,
the Outlaws.
I'm available usually any Sunday. Just give me a heads
Yeah,
up.
and when are we having lunch?
You
We were going to do lunch.
let me know.
Yeah, okay, sounds
For
good.
God's sake, this is a radio show. Organize your social calendar afterwards. Jesus. Dave, we love you. We appreciate you.
That's a ratings booster, you know?
That's right.
Exactly. Now everybody else is going to be like, I want to have lunch with Beeler.
This week
And then
on-
Beeler is going to be having free lunches all the time.
That's right.
What if you're buying?
This
I
week
could buy
on-
two. I'm just
okay.
saying. Yeah.
Hold on. This week on, when is Dave and Alicia doing lunch? Dave, we love you, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for taking some time. Let's chat again soon.
Yeah. Good to see you, buddy.
Good seeing you guys.
Yeah.
There goes Dave McMullen against the Pierce County Republican Party chair. All around good guy.
Salt of the earth.
And I mean that. I
He
give him
is.
some crap. He gives me some crap, but I think Dave is an amazing human.
He is.
And I just any chance I get to talk with him, I like that. So we'll have to bring him on again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's what we're gonna do. We got 8 minutes left for the top of the hour, and then we're gonna do football picks.
I thought we weren't doing
No.
football
Yeah, I
picks.
thought we were
no,
doing
Hold on,
you
hold
said
on.
we
Listen,
weren't.
Listen, listen. Tom and I had a conversation, and Tom and I both agreed we need to do football picks because we cannot have an entire heavy show.
We were going to talk about
need
the
to
Derby.
breathe.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we
talk
were
about the Derby.
talking
We'll
about
talk about
the
the Derby in
Derby.
just a second. And then we're gonna do football picks.
We,
okay?
we need
'Cause
some
we need-
levity.
No.
I don't care how we get levity, but we need some levity.
We need some
Derby.
levity. So we're
I
gonna do
mean,
football
we could
picks
talk
really
about furries again.
quick. We're gonna do football picks
There's
really
no
quick.
levity there.
That was funny shit.
That was
Come
funny.
on.
It's funny, but it does worry me.
Yeah, we're gonna do football picks really quick, just because we need a little bit of levity. We need a little bit of fun.
No, you only
No,
have
because
7
you know
minutes. Let's
what?
talk
You
about the
do this,
Derby.
and I haven't even had time to research anything.
You're not researching NFL games. Come on.
Ah.
It's only the third week.
It's only the third.
Research isn't going to help you.
Can we at least know how we did this past
Yeah,
week?
we'll do that. I do that when we
Okay.
do picks. I do that. So at the top of the hour, we'll do that. Before I get into that,
We're supposed to be done at 10.
Yeah, we're supposed
Well, we're
to
going
be.
to go to 10:10. Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
what you said last week too.
Before we do that, do you guys have anything partying on this? Again, the whole show has really been about Kirk.
I do. I want to say thank you to the guests that we had on. Chris Gergen, always a pleasure. Brandi Kruse, looking fabulous and always on point. Dave McMullen, just amazing to see you all around. One of the people that I missed when I was in Ohio, and Frank Aquila, who I'm just now getting to know, who's just an insanely smart dude. So thank you for highlighting and articulating maybe things that we were trying to say but maybe couldn't, or it just wasn't coming out that way. And it's really nice to have that brevity among people that we have in our corner that are willing to come on the show and do that. So thank you for that, you guys.
All right, perfect. Tom, do you have anything you want to add on this?
No, I've had a chance to kind of speak my piece on this one. I mean, I knew what we were talking about for this show, and I had some time to really sit and formulate and think get my thoughts put together on it. I know one of my weak points is like knee-jerk responses. I don't do anything quickly. I usually sit and I'll contemplate and I'll pick something apart. And this Charlie Kirk topic, I was able to sit down and do that, and so I feel like I was prepared. So,
Lori?
I would just like to point out that our chat has been amazingly respectful.
Yeah.
It has not been a snake pit
it has
tonight.
not been the snake pit.
I
yeah.
really, really, really want to say kudos to everybody who's been in the chat, no matter what your point of view is.
Right.
I really appreciate that everybody came to
Good job, chatters in there.
show and topic.
Yeah.
And were respectful. They were asking questions. There weren't the barbs. There weren't the threats. And all of that. It was very, very refreshing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Guys,
My parting shot just with this whole conversation is, and I want to echo what Lori said. I think the chat's been great tonight. I just want to encourage you guys to share stuff you know is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't share stuff that came from Uncle Buck's woodshed Twitter account that you can't bet anything on. Like,
you mean memes aren't resources?
No, memes are not resources. I just
But they're funny.
please vet your stuff before you do it. That's all I'm asking, because if you don't, we're gonna have problems.
We already have problems.
You know what I mean? We're gonna run into
We're gonna have worse problems, because the memes as your fact checks, those are the problems. I mean, that problem has gotten us to where we are. You mean what I know, damn it.
Yeah.
You just got that one wrong too, buddy.
No, I did that on purpose, you wise ass.
Sure you did. Anyway, I just want to encourage you guys to be smart. Share stuff that you know is accurate. Vet your stuff. Don't assume because your cousin's sister shared it that you should share it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't
do
assume
the
your
research.
opinion is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig a little
please.
bit. Find some actual facts and data to support your opinions.
And
research is good.
and
I
be
mean, I'm
better.
doing
right?
so much of that in my PhD or on my dissertation.
And
Because unlike you, I am a constitutional scholar.
I am
Kevin.
a constitutional scholar as well. We've already been over this. And be better. Please be better. Like, you can disagree with people and have those conversations without ridiculing them, name calling them, belittling them, degrading them, bullying them.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, and I think that's a trait we need to get back to in this
Yes.
country. So
Yeah, respect.
yeah, make the change start with you.
Be a Charlie.
Like, do you know that I don't?
Be a Charlie. Yeah.
I don't
Charlie,
ever go on
debate.
other people's walls and start arguments on their threads.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with people coming to me when I post something. I'm totally man enough to go behind what I post and defend it or argue it or whatever. But you'll never see me, like, I'll never go on Beeler's post and be like, well, you're wrong because of da 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 da. I'm not going to do that. It's her wall. She can post whatever she wants to.
But we'll tease you, Kevin.
What's that?
You know,
We'll tease you.
I think that might be what I would say is a good takeaway from this. Don't say anything online that you wouldn't say to someone's face.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and if you would, be prepared to get punched in the face. I mean, it's that
if you have the
simple.
stones to say it in person.
Yeah.
Great. Good on you.
Absolutely. Yes.
But you know, yeah, let's get back to that.
Yeah, let's get back to
Let's get
that.
back to personal communication.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
All right. Can we please really quickly, let's talk about the Derby really quick, and then we'll get into it more next week. But we'll talk about it really briefly because we got some props to give. And then we'll get to our football picks. We'll get out of here. So on behalf of the crew, I want to thank Dennis for one.
Thank you,
because
Dennis.
we would not have this relationship with the fine folks at the Derby had it not been for Dennis. His long relationship. He is the voice of the Derby. He is the second most established voice of sporting events in Kitsap County.
Oh boy, here we go.
Besides me and the Blue
Oh,
Jack.
here we go.
Oh my
Sorry.
God.
Love you, Dennis.
Oh, here we go.
But in all seriousness, though, Dennis, I love you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's been a great partnership with them. I don't know if they understand how much joy we get out of what they allow us to do, and I hope that we repay them just a fraction of that by our partnership with them.
I think we should make them tacos
We are going to have some No Spark drivers in next week.
or
too.
some wieners.
Yeah, some wieners.
Wieners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it till Alicia to ask for wieners. So anyway, so thanks to Dennis. Thanks to Amanda Ungren, everybody on the board down there at the Derby, everybody who allows us to come in. Who's the
new president?
No, who's the salty guy that always gets mad at us that waves the flags? What's his name?
That's Mikey. Oh,
Mikey.
Mikey
Yeah.
Mikey's awesome.
Thanks to Mikey. Had a great talk with him yesterday. That was great.
Is that the one that was whispering in your ear?
Yes. Yeah. That was Mikey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Guy
still-
with the guy with the white beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey's awesome.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think he wanted to pull me out of the car one year, but
I want to know what he whispered in
Yeah,
his ear.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't
I
believe.
told
Well,
you.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that's
Okay,
what it
that-
was.
That is really what he said, I promise.
Alright.
But anyway, thanks to all the people at the Derby who put this thing together and allow us to come down and be a part of it. Thanks to all the drivers that let us use their cars. Really, thanks to everybody down there involved with it. It's such a hoot. Go ahead, Dennis.
Right up our outgoing president.
Yeah.
Has been the president the whole time that we've done this.
Dan Pies?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so thanks to him. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
And our new
Thank you,
president
Dan.
next year is Thomas Hedrick. So
Welcome, Thomas.
be good.
He has a good
and,
name.
Let's see. James Gardner. I think he was kind of instrumental in helping get cars. Alicia was in his son's car, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, his son was so nice.
He was because
Yeah.
When I first talked to him, he goes,
Yeah, because
so great.
Kevin blew up his engine 2 years ago. He told me the whole story.
Riley hasn't been driving 2 years.
Well, that's what he told me. He was like, I know that guy. He blew up my engine 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't blow up anybody's engine. I'm not smart enough to blow up somebody's engine. Let's be honest. I mean, I could probably I could ruin somebody's clutch, I'm sure, but I don't know if I could blow up somebody's engine.
He's also smart enough to the car died.
I want to
and
know
can't
who else.
remember how to
Did you
start
have?
it.
Did you have a stick shift?
This is the first year I drove an automatic.
Did you have a stick shift?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
Alright.
stick shift
Sorry,
that wouldn't
Dennis,
start, so
what
we had
were
to
you saying?
compression start it.
Okay. Well, I I don't know what's going on with the car I was in, but
Sorry, Dennis. What were you saying? What were you saying? Sorry.
I'm just trying to
Oh, keep
jump
up.
in and-
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Got it.
I'm not good at hopscotch.
Okay.
I'm bad.
No, yeah. While we're talking about the Derby and stuff, I do want to put out a thank you to Bob Fior, number
Yeah,
86.
Weirdos Racing.
Yeah, number 86, Weirdos Racing. He loaned me his car to race in, and he put a brand new motor in it. It drove great. It was a quick car. He was an absolute gentleman because F-Bomb rode with me, which was a blast. I loved having F-Bomb in the car with me while I raced. And, you know, helping someone into a 5-point harness, it's a little invasive. And he was an absolute gentleman the whole time. He helped F-Bomb into her buckles and straps and into a helmet. And Bob is just, he was a hell of a gentleman, a hell of a stand-up guy. He wasn't upset in the slightest that, you know, we blew a tire out in the middle of the race. And yeah.
did
hell
you
of a
get bruises getting in and out of that car? I got a big old line right up my ass cheek from getting in and out of that car.
It was from the car.
So
it was definitely from the car.
Stick around for the finales last night.
You missed
out.
Yeah, I went and hung out with my
finales.
best friends, and I had so much fun.
Oh, the
So-
finales were just awesome.
I saw the first two finales, and I wasn't able to pay attention to the third one. I was doing something else. Okay. The last thing I want to say, and I'm not bragging about winning. I just want to tell a really cool story though. When I won and I went to come off the track, like all the guys that were at that back area where you come off at, like right there where the gate is.
Yeah, by the pit.
Yeah. No, yeah, when you come off the track right off.
Right, where everyone stands and spectates.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They literally all stood there and applauded me.
Yeah,
That's
they did
so
that with me last
amazing.
year.
And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like they don't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
I don't have any stock in this race. They really could care less about me. But they were cool enough that they all just clapped and cheered me on when I came off the track.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing.
That was really cool.
You know, and they're consistent about it, Kevin, because they did the same thing last year when I won.
I'm sure it wasn't because of me. That's my point.
We have a 6-minute football pick. Let's go. You
And
said 10
thank you to
times.
Sheets for showing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
And that's a horrible thing. I was so.
Can we bring her on? But baby, will you come on really quick on
I
camera?
announced it and was doing something. I missed
Oh man.
There's
I
Boss
totally
Baby.
missed
I'm
that.
gonna
Hi, Boss
unmute you.
Baby.
Boss Baby, did you have fun at the Oh, it won't allow us to unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
Now I can.
Okay. Did you have a good
Now
time
can you-
yesterday at the Derby?
It was fine. I wanted to drive, but that's okay. I got to wave up into the stands at little kids that I knew, so that was exciting.
Okay. So,
Andy-
but you wanted to drive because I wasn't really sure if you really wanted to or if you were just willing to if we needed you.
Oh, I'm the utility person on this show, so that's how it goes.
Well, next year I'll make sure that you drive. How
Oh,
about
you
you?
got to
we'll get you in the
drive
car.
next year.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
And
Robert
I-
Parker, it's the outfit. It's called Sheets. Have
Yeah,
you not
Andy-
heard of Dennis talk about Sheets for the last 4 years?
Sheets are amazing.
Yeah, and Andy, when you drive next year, you got to wear the sheets.
Oh, I don't know if
Okay.
they'll
I don't think
survive.
that'll let her. That catches on fire.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty loose.
it's probably not
Boo.
safe.
Yeah.
Boo. That's a fair
I
statement.
laughed that Doc Blackwell was like, "Oh, brought up the Versace." Like, yeah, the 99-cent jumpsuit from the Hilltop Goodwill.
God,
yeah.
Did you see the grin on Doc Blackwell's face yesterday?
Oh yeah,
He had so
He
much
had-
fun.
he's
Yeah,
already
fun
said he
time
wants
with
to come
us.
back next year.
That
Oh,
guy
he-
is so nice.
Doc is awesome.
Yeah, Doc is great.
Did you guys find out if he's single?
No, I
He
didn't.
is.
I
He
believe he is. Yeah.
Yeah, my bestie was checking him out.
So now we're the Outlaw Radio Network and dating service. Perfect.
Just saying.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
actually,
yeah,
hold on,
Kevin,
let's-
you didn't
let's
hold
do
up
this.
your end of the bargain
Hold on.
when
What's
you
his end of-
won.
What?
What?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I haven't
What were
heard
you
about
supposed
this.
to do when you won? I said, I'll hand you the trophy, and you'll say,
I don't remember.
I'm
it was
going to
Man Chop's
Disneyland.
birthday.
Oh,
Oh.
You guys
I
got
did-
to meet Man
Happy-
Chop. And
I did
then
give Man
didn't
Chop a
even-
big hug though. when
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
him.
you did.
Yeah, I did.
Happy
Yeah.
belated birthday, man chop.
Hold on. I missed
He's
meeting
probably
Man Chop.
sleeping.
Okay. Well, you can tell him.
All right.
I will.
I saw you guys
Yeah.
embraced earlier. That was
Yes, he was dropping me off.
pretty hot stuff. Yeah.
All, the
All right,
things.
Boss Baby, we love you. Thanks for doing
Okay.
that. I'll make sure you.
I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm a child.
All right, go to bed.
Good
night.
night.
Well, you're going to bed, but not necessarily to sleep. Bounce.
All by myself. No, sorry, my dog's here somewhere.
Oh, all
Come
right,
here,
goodbye.
bud.
Hawkeye.
Goodbye. All right. All right. Let's do football picks really quick and get out of here.
Yeah,
Ready?
please. Thank you.
So let me give you the results from week 2 really quick. First, Paul had an amazing, literally an amazing day. He had one game wrong.
You know what? And the
Wow.
games today were all very close. It was
Yeah.
insane.
So Paul, of the 15, of the 13 game, sorry, the 14 games and the double down that were available, he got 14 points. So there's 2 games on Monday night. So, it could go a number of ways, but he only had one game wrong today. So kudos to him. He got 14 points. Lori came in second with 13, Dennis with 12. I had 11, and then Tom, Heather, and Trojo all had 10, and then Beeler had 8.
That's
so
one more than last week, though.
your season stats right now.
She's improving.
Season stats right now. Dennis, Paul has the lead at 25. Dennis at 24. And then myself and Lori at 22. Tom and Trojo at 19. Heather at 18. Beeler at 15. So that's where we stand after 2 weeks.
That's all right. I like my odds. They'll come back up.
Do you have
I like
football
going
music
for
us,
the.
Dennis?
What's that?
Do you have football music for us?
I'm looking.
All right. So
I'm the
let's
comeback kid, just so you guys know.
let's do this. So let's get our picks out of the way here really quick. So here we go.
Okay.
On Thursday night, the Miami Dolphins, who have looked like ass, travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who have been kicking it. I'll pick first since Paul's not here. I will pick Buffalo. And let me just tell you right now, that will also be my double down game of the week. Tom?
Buffalo.
Beeler.
Wait, didn't they play today?
This is for next week.
This is next week's game.
I swear to God, Buffalo was playing Miami.
No, Buffalo
No.
played.
Oh.
Hold on.
Thursday.
Miami played. Was it New England today? Yeah.
Oh,
Miami
yeah,
played
yeah, yeah. It
England
was New
today.
England.
I mean Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah,
New
yeah.
England, same
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna be different and go with Miami.
Didn't you say you were going to catch up? All right.
Listen, at
Dennis?
some point, it's gonna make a come around.
Dennis.
Yes. How may I help you?
Buffalo at Miami. Dennis.
Buffalo.
All right. Lori.
Buffalo.
Heather.
Bills.
Buffalo. All right. Green Bay at Cleveland, Tom. You picked Cleveland. You doubled down on Cleveland. Are you ever going to make that mistake again?
No, I think I'll take the Cheeseheads this week.
Green Bay it shall be. All right. Beeler.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay as well.
I thought Cleveland was going to have a year. But
All right. Dennis.
I
Green Bay at Cleveland.
Out of Green Bay.
All right. Lori.
Green Bay.
Heather.
I'm not following the crowd, but I always pick Green Bay.
All right. I got Green Bay as well. Beeler, Indianapolis travels to Tennessee.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
Really quickly, Daniel Jones has, at least through his first two games in Indy, has actually looked like a quarterback. The Giants might be way more dysfunctional than we thought. Beeler with Indianapolis. Dennis?
The Colts against the Giants?
Yeah.
Colts against
No,
the
Colts
Titans.
at the Titans.
Titans.
Oh, Colts.
Okay. Lori?
Colts.
Heather?
Colts.
They're favored, by the way. I got the Colts as well. Tom?
Indy.
All right. We're going very chalk today. Dennis, Cincinnati travels to Minnesota. The problem is Joe Burrow is probably out for the next 4 weeks for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the season.
It just looked like it's 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there is no line posted by Vegas yet.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because they're waiting for a final injury update on Joe Burrow before they post it. Dennis, who do you got?
Ooh. I have to go with Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Mm.
John Walkerson went 5 for 5 in his Survivor pool. John, you should play the Pick 5 contest.
You got to stop
Send me a
talking so
message if you're
much and let's
interested.
get through this, please.
Lori, who do you got?
Thank you, Alicia.
You're welcome, Lori.
Minnesota. Heather?
All right, I sure am hopeful. I'm going for Kansas City.
It's
The
not
Bengals?
Kansas, it's Cincinnati.
Cincinnati or
Cincinnati.
Green Bay or Minnesota.
Cincinnati at Minnesota.
She wants Cincinnati.
Kansas
All right.
soda.
I'm going to go with Minnesota just because I don't think Burrow's going to play. Tom.
Yeah, sure, you betcha. Yeah, give me the Vikings.
All right, and Beeler.
I am absolutely going with Cincinnati because I hate the Vikings.
By the way, you can't get mad when I read comments from our chat because our listeners are what makes this show a big deal. So,
Well,
John
yeah,
Walker-
if you'd stick to the schedule. then I
John
wouldn't
Walker,
have
please
to,
don't
so-
don't feel hated on by Beeler. She's like that with everybody. All right, Lori,
Yes.
Pittsburgh at New England.
Pittsburgh.
Boy, Pittsburgh did not look good today. I'll tell you that
No,
right now.
but
Seattle beat
New
the crap
England
out of
was
them.
worse.
Heather,
New England.
New England. All right, I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Tom,
It's in New England.
it is in New England.
Yeah, give me New England.
I'm going to go with the Patriots as well.
All right, Dennis.
Yeah, why not New England?
Where's our football music at, Dennis? You're killing me.
He's looking.
Okay, okay. I know.
I'm getting here. I'm trying to pick something that I don't have to restart every 30 seconds.
Heather, L.A. Rams at Philadelphia. Do a YouTube search of the playlist. Heather, L.A. Rams at Philly.
That's going to be a good game, yeah.
And by the way, Philly is favored.
I'm go Philly.
All right, I got Philly as well. Tom,
It's in Philly.
it's at Philly.
Yeah, give me Philly.
All right, Beeler.
I'm gonna go with Philly as well.
All right, Dennis.
Philly.
Philly. Lori.
Philly.
All right. Back to the top. The New York Jets take on Tampa Bay in Tampa. Tampa is favored, and Tampa will win. I got Tampa Bay. Tom?
Tampa.
Beeler.
Tampa.
Dennis.
Tampa.
Lori.
Tampa.
And Heather.
Tampa.
We are all going chalk. Tom.
Yes.
The Las Vegas Raiders travel to the nation's capital to take on the Redskins. Yes, I said the Redskins.
Yeah, give me the Skins.
Talk right in your mic.
They're sharing.
Skins, please.
Thank you. Beeler.
I'm gonna go with Las Vegas.
All right.
Wow, really?
Dennis.
I'm not a Raiders fan, but I have to throw out some that are different.
I'm
Okay.
a Raiders fan when they're in Vegas, but they ain't playing good football.
I watched the Washington
Wait a
game
minute.
today, and I thought they fucking sucked. So
Hold on. How are the Raiders not playing good football, Tom? They won last week and they play tomorrow night, so they're 1-0. They're undefeated.
Beat the Cowboys.
No, they didn't. They beat
I thought they played
The
Cowboys.
indignation of that comment.
hold on. Who did they No,
think
they
they
beat
played
New England.
yeah, they beat
Oh, it
the
was
Patriots.
against New England.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Which they should have won.
Yeah, which they should have.
All right.
What? Who did?
Philly beat Dallas
game.
last
All right,
week.
let's keep going.
Tom's question.
And then Dallas won today. Dennis, Vegas at Washington.
Vegas.
Oh my gosh, you
Wow.
did it.
All right, Lori.
I puked in my mouth a little.
Yeah, I know. Raiders. Raiders.
Wow, really?
know.
Okay, Heather,
I know it was painful.
I love Raiders.
you got the Raiders too?
Yes, sir.
All right, and the Redskins are favored. Beeler, Atlanta at Carolina. No betting line is posted. I'm not sure why.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Hotlanta
At Carolina.
at Carolina. Dennis,
Atlanta.
Lori,
Atlanta.
Heather.
Atlanta.
I got Atlanta as well. Tom,
I know. I got no data. I'm going to take the home team just to be different.
Carolina.
Really?
I
Data
have no
doesn't
data on
support
this
that.
one. Is it bad? Hey, I've been picking Cleveland too because I
Yeah.
think eventually Cleveland's going to come around this.
Cleveland, bro.
All right, Dennis. Houston at Jacksonville.
Houston.
Jacksonville is favored, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Dennis, who do you got?
Jacksonville has been close. And it's in Jacksonville?
Yes.
All right. No, I'll go with the Jags.
All right, Lori,
Jags.
Heather. You got to talk right in the mic.
Jacksonville.
Thank you. I'm going to go Jacksonville as well. Tom,
Yeah, home team.
Beeler.
Yeah, I'm gonna be different and go with the Texans.
Yeah, I almost picked Houston. That might be a good pick. All right, Lori.
Yeah.
Denver at the LA Chargers.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh,
By the way, the Chargers are favored.
that's easy.
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay. Heather,
Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. Tom,
Bolts. I hate Denver.
Beeler,
I'm also gonna go with the Chargers.
and Dennis. I picked the Broncos.
Never would be heard.
Never
Nope.
ever.
I'm going with the Chargers. In Harbaugh, we trust.
All right. All right, Heather, Arizona travels to San Francisco. By the way, San Francisco lost their quarterback and a whole bunch of other players, and they blew out whoever they played today. I don't know how they
When
win.
they play the Jets or someone stupid like that.
Yeah, but still, you have to play your backup quarterback, and he's awful. And
Yeah, well, I mean, San Francisco.
All right.
Depth. They don't have any depth. I mean, they have some.
Move it along, boys.
but
Move
they
it
won
along.
with that lack of depth. Is my point.
All
Heather, who do you got? Arizona at San Fran.
Arizona.
Okay, Arizona's favored, by the way. Amazing.
I actually watched them today. They played a really good game. A lot of flags. But
All right. I'm picking San Fran. I don't know why, but I am. Tom? Oh, I know why. Because they have a midget dummy quarterback in Arizona. Tom?
Arizona.
He's not that short.
I'll take the midget.
Okay, Beeler.
Where are they? Who's the?
They're Arizona at San Fran.
I'm gonna go with San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you pay attention, I'm gonna have to repeat these things that take longer. Dennis.
Shut the fuck
I'm gonna go with San Fran.
And
And to
Lori.
mention, have you seen Arizona's rivalry jerseys?
No.
No, they took it on the desert, just rolled it around the dirt a little bit, and talk about we're bad.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Have you seen the Seahawks ones? They look like duck jerseys.
Cardinals, Arizona.
Arizona. Thank you, Lori.
More
Oh, I almost got another one. I just.
All right, I'll pick first. Dallas at Chicago. Dallas is favored. Really?
What?
Wow.
I'm going to go with Chicago. They got to win a game at some point. If they don't beat Dallas, they may not win a game this year. I got Chicago. Tom? It's in Chicago.
The Bears.
The Bears. Beeler?
I'm also gonna go with the Bears.
Dennis?
Sure, why not the Bears?
Lori?
Oh. I might throw up at Cowboys.
Heather?
All football gods that be. The Bears.
All right.
The Bears.
Okay. Tom,
Yeah.
Kansas City at the New York Giants. The Chiefs are 0-2, and they haven't started 0-2 since 2014. Tom?
But they're playing at
the Giants. Against Russell Wilson.
And they did say today Russell Wilson had the best game he's had since he left the Seahawks.
Yeah, he had a great
Yeah,
game
he
today,
had a
and they still lost.
Yeah.
No deal.
Yeah, but that was what 37 to 40 or something crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll tell you. I know
defense.
Beeler wants to get to the bottom of all these deep questions. Yeah, 37 to 40.
No, I want to go home.
Yep.
Come on.
Give me Russell the love muscle.
Wow. Okay, Beeler.
Kansas City.
I thought you hated Kansas City. Oh no, they're your second favorite team. That's right. Dennis.
They were my favorite second team.
Kansas City's got to get one.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll quit shooting themselves in the foot.
Lori.
I'm going to go with the Jets.
Talk about their do one.
You mean the Giants?
Giants.
Or Giants. Sorry, not
Okay.
Giants. Sorry,
Kevin,
sorry,
you
sorry.
literally
Or the
typed
New
in
York
Jets,
people
so I don't want
Took
to
me
hear
a
it.
minute. Yeah. Heather. Talk right in the microphone.
Kansas City.
All right. I got Kansas City as well. Beeler.
Yeah.
Detroit at Baltimore. That's going to be a great game on Monday night, man.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Baltimore is favored as well. Dennis.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Baltimore at home.
Lori.
Ravens.
Heather.
Ravens. Ravens.
All right. I think Detroit. Baltimore finds ways to lose these big games. Yeah. Tom.
I mean Lions.
All right. And then finally, Dennis, you'll pick first. The New Orleans Aints,
Watch it.
as in ain't got no shot,
Watch it.
ain't going to make the playoffs,
Watch it.
ain't going to win more than 3 games,
Watch it.
ain't going to amount to jack or crap.
Stop it.
Head to Seattle. Take on your Seattle Seahawks. Dennis, well, not yours because you're a Charger fan, but you know what I mean.
They'll go to Seattle. I mean, they pulled it off today, so.
Seattle is favored by 7.5. That's a big line.
Yeah.
All right. Dennis has got Seattle. Lori.
Seattle.
Heather.
Hawks, baby.
I got Seattle as well. Tom.
Well, Seattle.
Well, you were telling me to be careful about your Aints.
Until
Look,
you said
I've
Seattle.
got a hierarchy, right? There's 3 teams.
All right,
There's
Beeler.
only 3 teams. There's Seattle, there's the Saints, there's the Raiders, in that order.
Okay. Beeler.
Seattle.
All right. Thank you. All right. Double downs now. Lori, who is your double down?
Oh, shoot. Who were the Eagles playing? Was it the Rams?
Philadelphia is playing the Rams. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a good
Double
game.
down is Rams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hedge your bets, huh?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Heather,
That's
who's
gonna
your
be
double
a
down?
really good game.
Hawks.
All right. My double down, as I said earlier, is Buffalo because they're playing Miami. Tom.
Yeah, I was going to take the Hawks as a double down, too.
Perfect. Beeler.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
All right. Dennis, double down.
Packers.
Green Bay. All right. I thought you were going to take the Chargers. All right. All right. That'll conclude our picks for the week. You guys have any other parting shots before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, this Thursday night, comedy, Jason Movie House.
Oh, that's right.
Miss My Mind presents, and it's my premiere.
Woo.
Okay. All right.
Go, Dennis.
Tickets are
Dennis.
$10.
It's your birthday. All right.
I already bought my tickets.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
Do you know who
Thursday
the comedians are going to be?
I do
yeah.
not remember.
They're on their poster. The headliner is Juan Denmark. He's from Portland. He's performed on the Kill Tony podcast a couple of times. But two of the guys that are performing that night have been on a Kill Tony.
That'll be fun. All right. Just remember that Travis Kelce has not won a game since he got engaged.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. Anybody else have any? We're not going to do a full rotation for party shots because we kind of did.
Yeah,
earlier.
let's.
Well, I think we already did it.
Anybody else have anything else they want to say?
We appreciate you.
All right. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting the show. We'll see you back next week. It's Sunday. Be sure to send Paul a message and make sure he doesn't have any signed in his vajayjay.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
Well, he's not here.
So what? Why do you have to be so mean?
Just want to remind you guys who won the race yesterday. It'd be me.
What? And you know, and as we were leaving, I was going to say, go out in the world and be nice to each other.
Yeah, do that.
Be a Charlie, Kevin.
Be a Charlie.
Be a Charlie.
Good night, everybody.
Good
We
night.
love you guys. Have a great night. This has been a presentation of the Outlaw Radio Network. Good night.
Ta-da.